gesture. The NBA suspended Morant twice in 2023 for brandishing a firearm on social media. Carmelo Anthony's been notified he'll be part of this year's class of the Basketball Hall of Fame. Dodgers slugger Freddie Freeman out the last 2 games after injuring his surgically repaired right ankle following a fall in the shower at home, hoping to return tonight against the winless Braves. 7-0 Dodgers off to their best start since moving to L.A. ESPN MLB analyst Tim Kirkjian.
They have one of the deepest starting rotations I've ever seen. The depth that they have through their entire team, not just the rotation, is absurd. The way they can throw a lineup out there, they are so loaded. They won the World Series last year, and they're demonstrably better right now.
Tim Kirkjian on Clinton and Friends. The Bears expanding their new stadium options to include an Arlington Heights site in addition to downtown Chicago.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Thursday, my former head coach, John Harbaugh, recently signed an extension. I'll tell you if it actually removes him from the hot seat. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Jabari Mack, LSU wide receiver, transfer. He'll be with us in 2 hours from right now. Tons of NFL draft stuff to get to. Baseball Tigers beat up on Louisiana Tech. Lot to do, but let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Okay, I want to ask you an honest question. This is not leading. It is not patronizing. It is not any of those things. This is an honest-to-goodness question where I want your response. Do you feel differently today about the LSU men's basketball program and the direction they're headed than you did a week ago? Honest-to-goodness question. You can email me, tweet me, text in the 225-396-4400. You can go to the Speak Now function on the 104.5 ESPN app, the little microphone at the bottom. You could voice your answer. You could text your answer however you want. Honest-to-goodness, open-ended question. I'll take a lot of response throughout the day. You're probably up to speed, but let me just get you caught up in case you're not. So on Monday, LSU lands a transfer, Mike Nwoko, from Mississippi State. He's a 6'10", 250-pound forward who's been a 2-year starter. As a freshman at Miami, this last year at Mississippi State, now he's coming to LSU. So you have a big who is a 2-year starter in the SEC now coming to Baton Rouge. It's one. Then you land on Monday night DJ Thomas, who is a top 10 player in the portal at any position, the number 3 point guard in the portal, according to On3. You get him from UNLV. This is a guy who you beat out Florida and Kentucky to land him. And, by the way, Kentucky is arguably the greatest college basketball program ever. Florida's in the Final Four. You beat out those two schools, and by the way, you did it in a very stealth manner because nobody had LSU on the radar, and Thomas even talked about kind of taking a secret visit to Baton Rouge and then ultimately picked the Tigers. His paperwork's in, it's done. And then here on Wednesday, you land Rashad King. Rashad King is a 6'6" wing that averaged 18 points a game this year at Northeastern. I get it. Northeastern's not a power school. not everyone you get is going to be a 20-point-a-night guy to Power 5. But this is a guy that is a 6'6" wing who is a very competent scorer who maybe is a starter for you, or maybe it's a bench piece and you've got a really experienced player that's a good scorer, that's a 6'6" wing coming off the bench. You didn't exactly have that this season. And then we also hear, that's 3, and then we also hear that you're getting a visit this week from Markel Sutton. Markel Sutton is the number 16 power forward in the portal, the number 61 overall player. That's according to On3's portal rankings. Averaged a shade under 19 points and 8 rebounds per game, and was the Summit League Player of the Year at Omaha. Before transferring to Omaha, spent 1 season at Connors State. He was an unranked high school prospect, went to Connors State for a season, then to Omaha, becomes the Summit League's Player of the Year, and now could very well be headed to Baton Rouge. We don't know. He's taking a visit to LSU, and he's going to do a Zoom with Nebraska on Thursday. By the way, Texas and Kansas State are also in the hunt for Markel Sutton. So do you feel differently today than you did a week ago or even 72 hours ago? And I'm being serious here. Like, this isn't a patronizing I told you so, because I don't think anything's done, by the way. I mean, you've added 3 very nice pieces in the portal, but you're far from having a roster where you feel like, all right, you're ready to go compete at the top of the deepest league in the country. But what's very obvious at this point is the approach LSU told us they were going to take is bearing fruit. They have already had multiple additions with 3, and some conversations I had today, it's very clear they're going to add multiple more, as in more than 1. How many? I don't know. That probably depends on who the prospect is, what their wants, needs, demands, any of that stuff, maybe how they might fit with you stylistically, culturally. There's a lot of that could factor in, but I believe there will be more than 1 that they still add the rest of the way. So you've got 3. I think you'll get minimum to 5. And they could all be different level of contributors. Remember, not everybody's going to be a plug-and-play starter, but what if you're getting a 6'6" wing that's coming off your bench that averages 18? And now that's a guy that's going to be a role player for you, maybe offense off the bench. Like, that's clearly the type of depth and scoring you didn't have on this team. This year, you were so reliant on Cam Carter. Like, if he wasn't there offensively, you weren't there offensively. And remember, you're getting Jalen Reed back off of injury. You got 3 guys all in the top 100 nationally in the signing class that are coming in. You're building a roster that looks more like it's in line with one that can compete. I want to remind you of something else. Now, this is a conversation we had talking about football, but it's related to basketball as well with NIL and rev share. Remember, what you're seeing right now are front-loaded contracts. So you're actually seeing, as best I can tell with a lot of conversations I've had, players this year making roughly double right now what the same caliber player would have made a year ago. Like, if a guard cost 1.2 a year ago, he's making 2.5 to 3 this year because of the front-loaded contracts. Remember, you have all these collectives that have fundraised. We're expecting the revenue share, the house settlement, to go into effect this summer, which would eliminate NIL as we currently see it through collectives as pay for play. So what you're seeing is all these collectives who have tons of money trying to dump their money now to front load contracts before revenue share, so they're not just sitting on piles of cash that they can't spend. So you're seeing a lot of teams overspend, just like they did in the football portal window. They're doing it now in this basketball portal window as well. So it's a good time to be a college athlete jumping in the transfer portal. But the top of the league, I told you, for this current basketball season was around the $8 million range. Auburn, Florida, Kentucky, they were all in that $8 million range. Yet teams like Missouri and Vanderbilt in the $5 million range. LSU was at 1.8. We're sub $2 million. You want to know why you were right with South Carolina at the bottom of the league, you spent like it. Well, what's very clear is that LSU is spending at a level that's going to allow them to have a competitive roster. I'm not telling you they're getting to 10 to 12 million bucks, because that's what I'm told the top of the league is going to be at in this cycle with the inflationary nature and with revenue share coming in and the front loading of contracts. I think you're going to see basketball rosters in the league at the top get to 10 to 12 million. LSU's not going to get there, I assure you of that. But they're going to be far more competitive to where they're going to be able to compete in the deepest roster in the history of college basketball, the deepest conference. I mean, look, you just had 14 teams make the NCAA tournament. That's a record. You had 7 teams in the Sweet 16. That's a record. It's the deepest league we've ever seen. And now you're spending appropriately. So, I'll say again here what I said at the end of the season, what I said 2 weeks ago, what I said a week ago, what I'll continue to say is the same thing I said back at the end of November and at the December signing period for football. Is give them a month. Give them a month. Okay. Bryce Underwood flipped. You missed out on Jakeem Stewart. You let Cade Phillips go to Texas because you said, we'd rather take that NIL money, put it in the portal. Okay, that was your plan. Let me see you execute your plan. I'll give you a month. What happened? They signed the number 1 portal class in the country, and there's not a lot of angst around LSU football right now. People are pretty excited. So I said, let's extend the same expectation to basketball. Give them a month. I'm not surprised all those guys left in the portal. Like, you were 3-15. There was nobody on that roster you were aching to keep. So you freed up spots. You said you had money. You were going to go spend, be aggressive in the portal, try to bring in a great class. Well, so far, you're showing signs of that. Finish off this roster, and then we'll get a chance to see what Matt McMahon can do when he's got a loaded roster. Because the truth is, he's been taking a knife to a gunfight. Now, at the rate they're going now, he's going to have a roster capable of competing. And then it's on him to maximize that roster and see what he can do. Because I got news for you. You go dump 5, 6, 7 million, whatever that number is going to be, into this roster, and you get the same results, well, now there's nowhere else to blame. There's nowhere else to look other than Matt McMahon. So the pressure ratchets up tremendously on him. But I think many have forgotten, like, he didn't forget how to be a good basketball coach. He was a very good basketball coach at Murray State, which is why he got the LSU job. Give him resources that allow him to compete, see how it goes. That's all I've said. I've never sat here and pounded the table and said definitively Matt McMahon's great. He's going to nail it, going to crush it, going to win championships. I've never said that. But I also think it is premature and inauthentic to say he'll never do that based on the resources that you have. It's like if you go look at Mississippi State football, I don't mean for this to be insulting to Mississippi State football, but there's just a different level of resources at State than, say, Alabama and LSU and Georgia. Like, the expectation isn't gonna match because the resources are different. Well, that's how it's been with LSU basketball. Okay, well, now you match resources, expectation goes up, and it should. So do you feel differently? Do you feel differently today with the way they've started this portal cycle? Let me get my finger on your pulse and how you feel about this. You can email me, Matt at 1045ESPN.com. You can tweet us at Matt Moscona. You can jump in the Buy Ford YouTube chat on the Watch 1045 ESPN YouTube channel. You can text 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. I told you, give them a month. They're off to a good start. All right, our show But Never Day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, the official beer of the LSU Tigers, the official beer of the New Orleans Saints. Y'all, spring is here. Nothing goes with boils like buds. You're going to be boiling those crawfish. Make sure you have plenty of Bud and Bud Light. Whether you're buying your crawfish, whether you're boiling them yourself, you're going to a crawfish boil, crack open an ice cold Bud Light all spring long. Nothing pairs together like lamb and tuna fish, like milk and cookies. It's buds and boils. Make sure you got plenty of ice cold Bud Light, the official beer of AFR. Okay, it is after further review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. We'll get to a lot of your reaction on that. We got a lot of draft stuff I want to get to. Aaron Schatz from ESPN has a cool piece up grading this draft receiver class. It looks like the Saints are probably going to be buyers in the receiver market in this draft. So what is an expectation of this class after such a dynamic receiver class in the draft a year ago. We'll get to all of that. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. Let me knock out a quick break. When we come back, however, baseball Tigers get a win over Louisiana Tech. A couple takeaways next on AFR.
After further review.
I love telling you about Clegg's Nursery with 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Siegen near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. I tell you every single day to buy local and shop local. Spring has sprung, y'all, but remember, at Clegg's, if you've got, when spring comes, yes, flowers and our bloom and our lawns start to come back to life and everything greens up, but that also means you have unwanted pests. It could be weeds in your lawn. It could be anthills. It could be mosquitoes. All those types of critters that we don't want around our lawn and garden home. Clegg's has the products to take care of that. Of course, you can get the weed and feed that you can spread right now. They spread now before the weeds start popping up. If you have mosquitoes or have had mosquitoes at your property, remember the Aeon mosquito barrier, something I tell you about all the time. Was it like $25, $30, something like that? It's the size of a track baton. You take the top off, it's got the granules in there, fill it up with water, shake it up, hang it on your property line. You're done with mosquitoes 90 days at a time. It's Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local at Clegg's.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Dolby comes set, checks the runner, a payoff pitch. This one towards the alley in right center field. Berkeley on his horse giving chase. Takes a bounce at the track, comes off the wall. An RBI double for Ethan Fry. RBI number 23, and it's now 12-3 LSU.
What a night for Ethan Fry. He was a triple short of the cycle, making a very strong push to be in the everyday lineup. LSU beats Louisiana Tech 12-3 on Tuesday night out at the box. I want to delve into some takeaways from that game, but maybe the biggest storyline actually didn't happen during the game. It happened post-game, I'm asked daily, as I'm sure many of you have the conversation about it, and what's going on with Gavin Guidry. Of course, been a really good reliever for LSU the past 2 seasons, and we've yet to see him. Jay Johnson has been really evasive when talking about Guidry and his injury and the timeline. This was the first time in a while, anyway, since Jay has commented about Gavin Guidry. Here's what he said after the win against Louisiana Tech.
Hopefully by Auburn we have a chance. Would be the most optimistic report that I could give you. I don't see him pitching this weekend. There is a chance for Auburn. We tried to set a timetable for that. He's got to clear some benchmarks for that.
So I know I keep getting asked, and there's this feeling among LSU, among parts of the LSU fan base, because I know I see it on my text line and on Twitter, and people asking me like, hey, what's really going on with Guidry? It can't just be an injury. No, it's really an injury. I think, and it's a back. And I was told last week as well, there's something else he's dealing with physically as well. So it's 2 things he's dealing with. And you heard Jay say it, there's benchmarks he's got to clear before they're going to run him out there. And they're not going to take a chance, nor should you, quite honestly. And I understand it's particularly frustrating because you've had bullpen struggles, and you'd love to have this veteran guy that really got the bulldog mentality and really is a strike thrower, which is what you're lacking in spots in this bullpen. So I get that. And boy, what a huge addition it would be if and when you get Guidry back. But I think the way I phrased it earlier in the week or late last week, whenever we talked about it, was they're hopeful, but not necessarily optimistic, if that's a good way to put it, about Guidry. Now, when might you get him back? I don't know. You play Oklahoma this week, and then next week is your Auburn series. So that's what Jay Johnson was alluding to. So there's benchmarks he's got to clear to get there. But, there have also been times in the past where you've gotten guys back as late additions and have become impact guys. I mean, Chad Jones may be at the top of that list when you think about Chad playing spring football and coming back and joining baseball in the 2009 championship run, and clearly became a force, from the left side of the bullpen. Chase Shores, had LSU advanced a year ago to the Supers, was going to pitch in the Supers last year in some role. He was going to be available. So whenever you might get Gavin Guidry back, it would be a welcomed addition, because that's a guy, you'd have to ramp up and get him on a throwing program again to where he could give you some degree of length. You feel like anything at this point from someone like Guidry or anyone that's competent out of the bullpen would be a really good thing. So that's the latest there from Jay Johnson on Gavin Guidry. There's nothing nefarious. I know there's been rumors about that because I see him, like, again, you'll text and tweet me things like that. And I've had no less than 4 or 5 different people confirm to me, independent of each other, what this is. So I think when Jay was asked about it a few weeks back, he said, clarified, it wasn't an arm, that it was lower body. Then actually said not lower body, middle body. But it's back. It's back, and then another thing he's dealing with as well. So when we get more information on it, if they disclose it, we'll pass it along. I'm not comfortable disclosing until I know that I have it definitively right. The back part of it, I am convinced, is definitively right. He's got a back issue. And then there's another thing ailing him as well. But when we get that confirmed, we'll pass it along to you. But you'd love to get him back when you can. Let me talk about the game itself, because there were a few takeaways I want to get to. We're brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Windows door siding, oh yeah, they do shutters as well. Energy-efficient replacement windows. When I say that, don't let it be a throwaway. Remember, these are energy-efficient windows because they measure twice, install once, and they have this energy-efficient glass. What it'll do is it'll lower your energy cost. They actually have a really cool test they do where they'll take a regular glass pane window and their energy-efficient window at Relief Windows, and they'll put a lamp above them and a thermometer underneath so you can see the temperature difference between the energy-efficient window and a standard glass window. So it's gonna keep your home more energy efficient, lower your energy bills. In time, it'll pay for itself. It'll increase your home's resale value. And remember, also comes a lifetime transferable warranty on labor, material, and glass breakage. It's Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. All right, so LSU beats Louisiana Tech 12-3. We went into this game, and I told you there were probably 2 things that I was interested in seeing. One was if they did, in fact, start William Schmidt, which they did. Jaden Newt at one point in the game was getting loose. He didn't come in, but I think that omission probably is a good indicator. And we always say actions speak louder than words. It's a pretty good indicator of what they're thinking right now because you didn't throw Newt. You're on a short week. Of course, they played Tuesday. They travel Wednesday. They'll play Thursday against OU, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It's probably a good indicator that they're going to want Newt as fresh as possible to be able to go give them outs. I mean, he got you the final 6 outs in that game that went into the early morning hours Sunday against Mississippi State. Schmidt threw 51 pitches, and I thought by and large Schmidt was good in this ball game. He got a tapper back to the mound, that chopper back to the mound to start the game. He got a fly out and shallow right. It probably was a ball that Dickinson should have caught. I mean, Brown coming in almost caught it on the dirt. He gave up a single to the 3-hole hitter, then struck out Sebastian Mexico, the cleanup hitter, on a 3-2 pitch where he got a check swing and a called third strike. So he works around that one single. It was a really good, clean inning there for Schmidt. Goes back out there in the second. He gives up the homer to Zeb Ruddle. Cool moment in the game, by the way. Ruddle and Dross, a couple of former LSU Tigers, each homered in this game. Stings for LSU, but cool for those guys to come back to a place where they started their careers and to homer. So cool individual moment for them. You know, the Ruddle homer was on a 2-0 pitch. And that is really indicative of when Schmidt has found himself in trouble. When he gets behind in a count and has to throw a strike, as impressive as 96 is, when good hitters know it's coming and they don't miss it, it's going to go a long way. And that's what happened. He got down 2-0. He threw Ruddle a strike. He crushed it to left. It was a homer. And then he gave up a double down the right field line, a ground rule double, but then he got out of it. He gets a pop-up. He gets a grounder to first. Nate Yeske came out almost as if to say, do you want to, finish this thing off? And he gets Will Safford to ground out to first base unassisted. So after the homer double, he gets 3 straight outs on weak contact, which was awesome to see. And I think a lot of us at that point thought, because Rizzi was warming up, that was going to be it for Schmidt. Well, they put him back out there in the third, and it was pretty obvious at that point that he was going to go until he allowed a runner. Well, he gets a ground out, then a strikeout. He walks Ballard on 4 pitches, and they yanked him. Went and got Cooper Williams, who got Sebastian Mexico to ground out. So all things considered, you wanted to see Schmidt go out there and have success and throw strikes, and he did that. He walked the last batter he faced, but he was able to go get you 7 outs in the ball game. There should be 8 outs in the ball game, and be around the strike zone, which was a very positive step for Schmidt because as we continue to talk about it, Schmidt and Ware are probably the 2 guys from the right side and the left side, respectively, that you really need to come along. You know, you know who the guys are, the first 5 that you're counting on, with Anderson, Ianson, Shores, Cowan, Evans, in whatever order. Like those 5, you know you're going to count on. And it's pretty clear Jaden Newt is sort of emerging in that mix as well. And then if you had Schmidt from the right side, Ware from the left side, that gives you 8. Look, Will Helmers was here yesterday. He said Jay wants 8. That gives you 8 guys that you feel like you can count on. And by the way, we hope you get Gavin Guidry back at some point. Maybe Maverick Rizzi comes along and can be a situational righty. Cooper Williams can be a situational lefty. Connor Benj can throw 97 and has been good for you at times as well. Those options continued to develop, but mostly this was about Schmidt getting the start, getting some confidence back, having success, and you certainly check that box. Offensively, the Tigers were good. They put up a 4 spot in the first. Jones and Fry each homered. Fry was a triple short of the cycle. The thing that a lot of people have asked now is, how do you justify taking Ethan Fry out of the lineup? And I don't know that at this point Jay Johnson will. As a matter of fact, he was asked that after the game, is it hard to take Fry out of the lineup at this point?
I love seeing him come up there right now. Yes. So the answer is yes. I love seeing him come up there right now. He's locked in, and he's a hard worker, and he's had a great mindset. I think young players in the program, if they emulated how Ethan went about his business, they would end up giving themselves the best chance at success. He's very mature, and he's a really good player, and really happy to see him go, and it makes us a better team, with him going like that, and that's awesome.
To Jay's credit, he has been a staunch defender of Ethan Fry through his struggles, has continued to give him opportunities, and Ethan Fry is rewarding him right now. It's also a really good indicator of what good things can happen when you stay in a program. You could think of someone like maybe Ashton Larson on this team. Contributed a ton last year as a freshman. His role has really diminished this year. Next year, you're going to have some opportunity in that outfield. Maybe Larson, if he stays, will have that opportunity. You can look at Fry as an example and say, look, keep going after it. You're going to have your opportunity if you want to be here and stay here and continue to play. But all those decisions are decisions guys will make in time. I will say this about Fry. Fry's hitting over 400, but more importantly, he's hitting 350 in conference play against SEC pitching. Now, he only has 20 ABs in conference, and you're about to dramatically ramp up the level of competition with Oklahoma this weekend. So on the road against top 10 Oklahoma team, let's see how he does. Because for me, that's really the question about Fry. Like, Fry has always done just fine hitting in the midweek against Louisiana Tech in directional schools. It's, can he hit against conference opponents? He was sub 200 last year against SEC opponents. He's at 350 right now with 20 ABs. I'm not saying he needs to hit 350 against conference opponents all year, but can he keep this pace where he's giving you productive ABs against the best pitchers you're going to face in conference play? That's going to be the telltale for Ethan Fry. But listen, Muse mentioned it yesterday when we were talking about the game at the end of the show, that Jay now, Friday, or the last game of the series against State on Saturday, they faced a righty. Fry was in the lineup. And last night, even though Tech started a lefty, when they went to the bullpen, brought in a righty, Fry stayed in the ballgame. So he hit lefties and righties and was a triple shy of the cycle. So maybe that's an indicator of a pivot here for Jay, that he's not going to platoon a DH. If Fry's going to be your DH, and the changes you may see would be Pearson, Brown in right field. So just something to keep an eye on as LSU goes and plays Oklahoma on the road this weekend. All right, it's after further review. Our Hump Day shows are brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. We got a lot to do, y'all. We're going to go around the SEC. Taylor will be here for Bourbon Dictionary in about 15 minutes. Aaron Schatz of ESPN has a pretty good piece up right now evaluating the explosive potential of the receivers in this year's NFL draft. I think this is going to surprise you at how relatively weak a receiver draft class this is relative to what we may think. We'll get to that here in about half an hour from right now. And LSU receiver commitment, Jabari Mack, at the top of hour number 3. We got a ton to do, and glad you're here. It's AFR.
After further review.
Brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. They're a title sponsor of our Hump Day shows all throughout the year. It's a great opportunity today, guys, for me to remind you to log onto the website. Don't waste time. Do it right now. Go to yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com. I get it. Funny name, the logo with the steeple on it and everything, all the double entendre. Yes, it's funny. It's trying to bring some levity to a situation that a lot of guys are uncomfortable talking about. But the bottom line is, yes, they have ED treatments from pill form and other things. Even if you're taking pills and that doesn't work, they've got plenty of varieties. Most importantly, what I want to stress to you, though, is hormone replacement therapy. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, if you're young or you're old, it's about how you feel. And so many of us don't know how bad we feel until we start feeling good again. A simple blood test in the office can let you know if you're a candidate for HRT. As a matter of fact, before you leave the office, you'll have your results and they'll let you know. Lowest prices, never any contracts. Learn more at yourgoodwood.com.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Glad you're rolling along with us here. Rose on the text line said, I'm a sports fan of LSU. I love football, women's basketball, and baseball. I want to root for our men's basketball team again. I sincerely hope Matt McMahon can turn it around next year. I wonder how many people are like that. Sometimes I feel like, here's one from Ben. Said, Matt, I'm an LSU basketball season ticket holder. I'll believe it when I see it. Wish we still had Will Wade. Preston, I was asking people in light of the recent transfer portal success. By the way, LSU right now is the number one transfer portal class in the country in basketball, by the way. Long way to go. And I'm not saying do backflips, throw the ticker tape parade. I'm just saying, like, the approach they said they were going to take, they're following through on. That's undeniable. Now, if it works and nets results, will be interesting. That's something we also have to wait and see. But it's also undeniable that they've had a talent infusion. They said they were going to go spend money in the portal. They've got top players. Let's see how it goes. Preston said, no, I don't feel different. We really don't care about men's basketball. That money better not take away from women's basketball, baseball, or the spring portal window for football. Okay, a couple things. Number one, you didn't care about women's basketball until they started winning. Let's be very honest. For 10 years, when Nikki Fargas was there, ain't nobody went to those games. This, like most places, is a front-running town. LSU baseball, for, 80 years, nobody cared about. And then Skip Burtman came, started winning championships, and they built a big, beautiful stadium, and they filled the thing because the expectation is to go win championships. Okay? Let's call it what it is. LSU gymnastics for 40 years under D.D. Bro never won a damn thing. The dean of SEC coaches, most laughable thing. D.D. Bro never won anything. It's that nobody cared about that program, and so nobody cared to fire her. Jay Clark comes in, you start getting great athletes, you put 13,000 people in there, you win a national championship. Let's be honest, okay? How can you say that? Because I'm honest. We're having an honest conversation. You can tell me you don't care about men's basketball. I'll tell you this. People sure seemed to care when Will Wade was here. People sure seemed to care when they went on the Final Four run. Boy, it was a lot of fun when Marcus Thornton was filling up threes, when Brandon Bass was dominating dudes, when Dale Brown went to 13 straight NCAA tournaments. People cared then. Don't tell me you don't care. Like, you don't care right now, you're apathetic because they don't win. People want to support a winner. And if they win, y'all all be back on board. I'm in that number two. I'm not excluding myself. I'm right there with you. You know how much of this basketball season I watched? There were times they played conference games. We didn't even talk about it on the show. Didn't even give it a mention. Why? Because y'all didn't care. I'm interested in sitting here talking about things y'all care about. If they win, you'll care. But don't give me that better not take money away from women's basketball. Because the only reason you care about women's basketball is because they win. Same with baseball. Just curious. What it'll take. Maybe for some of you, you're so hard and fast on the line against Matt McMahon that nothing they do in this portal cycle will be sufficient. Like, you're going to have to see it on the floor. And that's okay, by the way. I'm not trying to convince you of anything. As much as it may seem, though, I'm not. I'm not trying to convince you this is going to be great. I'm just telling you, they told us they had a plan, and they're executing the plan. Will the plan work? We'll find out next fall and spring. All right, glad you're hanging out with us here. Brought to you by Parrish Construction and Roofing. Hey, by the way, we're giving away $10,000 cash. No catch. ParrishBuilt.com, ParrishBuilt.com. Go to the website. You'll see the pop-up right there on the homepage. We're giving away $10,000 cash. No catch. All you got to do is sign up for a free, no-obligation roofing inspection. Last month, we did $5,000 giveaway. Went exceptionally well. Terrio said, hey, how about if we give away $10,000? Okay. I might have gotten outvoted on this promotion. Nonetheless, I'm a partner in the company, and so here we go. So I would love it if you'd sign up for a free no-obligation roofing inspection. That's all you got to do. Go to parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. You'll see the tab right there. It'll pop up right on the home screen. Fill out the form, and you're automatically entered to win. By the way, if you entered for the $5,000 giveaway last month, you are still entered for this giveaway. So we'll roll all those people into this one as well, so no worries. Do business with someone you know. That's us, Parish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com. Okay, let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference, the Texas Longhorns.
Tight end Jordan Washington has injured his shoulder during spring practice. He'll be held out of the rest of spring as a precaution. Second-year tight end expected to have a bigger role in the offense with Gunnar Helm and Juwan Davis out, as well as Amari Nyblack, who transferred to Texas A&M.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Bama lost their tight end for the rest of spring with an injury. Marshall Pritchett, the nature of the injury not disclosed, but he is expected to recover in time for camp. 6'5", 235, the 17th best tight end in the country. Bama lost both of their starting tight ends from this past season.
Texas A&M!
A&M's got a commitment from linebacker Storm Miller out of Ohio, the number 21 linebacker in the country. Picked A&M over Ohio State, Michigan, Clemson, Notre Dame, Oregon, and Penn State. He's the number 25 linebacker in the country for 2026.
The Auburn Tigers.
Bruce Pearl has updated Janai Broom's status. Of course, he is expected to play against the Gators. Now it's just about rest. Pearl was a guest on Pardon My Take, said Broom won't practice much this week. They expect him to be able to bounce back in time for the game. Broom had 25 and 14 in the Elite Eight win over Michigan State.
The Oklahoma Sooners.
Starting guard Duke Miles has entered the transfer portal for a sixth and final season. Started all 34 games in the backcourt for the Sooners this season. He's the fourth transfer portal departure for Oklahoma since the 30-day portal window opened last Monday.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
Kobe Knox has committed to South Carolina out of the transfer portal, and fourth-year head coach Lamont Paris. Knox spent the previous 3 seasons at USF, played 97 games there, averaged 10 and 3. Kobe's father, Kevin Sr., played football at Florida State.
The Florida Gators.
And Florida's second baseman Cade Kurland is done for the season with a shoulder injury, confirmed by Kevin O'Sullivan after Florida's 8-4 win over North Florida. 2-year starter at second base. He was a preseason All-SEC selection. Bad gets worse for the Gators, who are off to a bumpy start in conference play. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. We're brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Let me knock out our final break of hour number 1. When we come back, Taylor Calandro, little Bourbon Dictionary. Get your booze questions in. Email us, tweet us, or text us. It's AFR.
AFR.
Business owners, if you're trying to find the right people that are going to help make your business more efficient, let Glow Resources help. GLO, glowresources.com, glowresources.com. They're complete employer solutions. Yes, they are headquartered in Baton Rouge. Gorgeous facility right there on Perkins Road near Pennington, especially at night when it's all lit up. You cannot miss it. Gorgeous glow sign. They actually cleared out the power lines in front of the building and had them dug right there. So they had more beautiful frontage access to the building. It's gorgeous. But they've also got offices in Houston, the Golden Triangle of Orange, Port Arthur, and Beaumont. New Orleans office of Glow Resources as well. They're down in Miami. The bottom line is, y'all, no matter where you are, Orlando, no matter where you do business, if you need to find the right people to make your business more efficient, you need Glow Resources. So check them out online at glowresources.com. Glowresources.com, complete employer solutions.
For the review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com. They're the gang with the slang.
Keep it 100.
I don't know what you're talking about.
This is Bourbon Dictionary with Matt Moscona and Taylor Calandro.
I don't understand.
Taylor, how are you, dude?
Good. How are you, Matt?
Really good, man. A good Wednesday. Excited about getting over the hump, heading toward the weekend. What's new?
We still got a bunch of new beers and stuff. Just some new locals. Strawberry, Catahoula Common, and we still have some of the Supernova from Parrish. And I think by the end of the week, we're supposed to be getting Penelope 4 grain, which I tried last week. It's supposed to be really inexpensive, and it is fantastic. It's supposed to be like $40 or $50.
Explain 4 grain to people.
So it's got 4 different grains in the recipe. I can't remember what they use. Corn, definitely some rye, some barley, and I don't know, some wheat for sure. So there's 4 different grains, and then they distill that, and so the majority of this one is going to be wheat, and I don't know what proportions it is, but this is going to be a lot of wheat for the small grain.
I have the internet, so I was able to cheat. You nailed it, by the way. So 74% corn, 16% wheat, 7% rye, and 3% malted barley is the mash bill for the Penelope 4 grain.
Yeah, so
MSRP's $40 too, bro. MSRP's $40. It's a great price.
Yeah, it's really good too. And I hope we can get a fair amount. I'm not sure how allocated it is, but for the price, it made me really happy to hear that. Because it's just like new releases just seem to be really expensive now, and this one's not. So.
Actually, you know what? Let me correct myself. That's the mash bill for the Penelope wheated bourbon. Have y'all have any of that? That actually, I love a wheated bourbon. No, forgive me. That is the 4 grain. Okay, never. It says
4 grain wheated.
It's 4 grain wheated. Yeah, okay.
Wheated.
Yep.
It should be like $40, $50.
Yep, that's it.
But their portfolio is a little confusing, but yeah.
That looks great. $40.
Yeah, it's really good. And you're a wheater guy, so it's pretty soft.
So for those that don't know, the characteristics of a wheated whiskey tend to be softer and sweeter, which I like. So Weller, is the original wheated bourbon, right? And so
Weller, Pappy. I mean, when you think of wheated bourbon, Weller's definitely probably the first one you would think of. But yeah, they tend to be a little softer and a little sweeter. This one's not super soft and sweet, but it's definitely you can get the wheat in there for sure.
You can get your questions in. Email us, tweet us, text us, 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Lots of ways you can get your booze questions in for Taylor. Greg said, ask Taylor, if the 200%, this is a good one I wanted to ask about, if the 200% tariff on European spirits passes, how will that affect what they stock on the shelves? That's the whole, the whole tariff, the whiskey and bourbon culture in America is kind of caught here in the crossfires, right, of all the tariff stuff going on. So how is that, if at all, impacting anything?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the main things, because that's one of the main things that you just absolutely see the country on the shelf, and it comes. But anyway, there's a million things that come from all those countries. It's just like that's front of mind for a lot of people. So it's fun. I saw Canada and Mexico kind of backtracked on their tariffs today a little bit. I don't know anything about politics, so I don't know if this is just a big chess game or what. If 200% happens to hit, I have no idea what's going to happen with the producers. That's a lot.
Are you as a retailer feeling the effect at all yet?
No, not yet. I mean, they're still going through all this. I mean, we haven't seen price increases on anything in the last month or so. So at least not to my knowledge, nothing that sticks out to me. So
what do you think would happen? What do you think, Taylor, would happen if all of a sudden imported spirits, the price went so high that you as a retailer maybe would you just use something like Grey Goose vodka, just hypothetically, or I'm just thinking something from a European country. What would happen if that price went up so much? Would you continue to carry it?
Well, so if it ever happened to where Diageo couldn't control some sort of type of government, because it's a gigantic liquor company. If something ever happened like that, it would eventually roll down to the consumer. I don't think that's ever going to happen, though. I just don't think it's ever going to happen. These liquor companies have way too much money and I understand they're dealing with big governments and stuff, but these liquor companies have a lot of influence in a lot of these countries, so because they have a lot of money. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how it shakes out. I mean, the short answer to all these questions is if it ever happens, it's going to roll downhill to the consumer. That's just how it works.
You though, obviously have, I mean, you have the finger on the pulse of consumer behavior. Do you think consumers would continue to pay an increased price? And I'm not picking on Grey Goose, I promise. I'm just thinking of a European spirit that's very popular. Like, if that doubled in price, would people spend $80, $100 for that bottle, or would they spend something more moderate for an American spirit?
No, they would switch to Tito's. The people that haven't would switch to Tito's. I mean, there's always there's always something to fill the void. I just think this is something that is not going to happen on a large scale. I think it's going to maybe affect some people, but on a large scale, I don't think this is really going to have a gigantic effect. I could be totally wrong, though. I don't know. But like I said, Mexico and Canada have kind of backtracked today a little bit from what I've read. So I don't know.
I'm like you. I don't keep up with all the political proceedings. I don't know what's all going on there, but we'll all wait and see. This is a much easier one. Ask Taylor, what's your favorite E.H. Taylor?
My favorite E.H. Taylor of all time is E.H. Taylor Sour Mash. It's unattainable. It's very expensive. It was one of the first special releases they did. They do a special release every year pretty much. My favorite attainable E.H. Taylor is probably Barrel Proof. I love the Barrel Proof. And the single barrel is such a great bottle if you can find it. It's definitely something you should have on your bar.
Taylor Calandro, got to go. Thanks.
See ya.
See ya. Hour 2 next.
AFR.
Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always. No paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net. Powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
There it is. The extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Auctioner, We know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. ESPN's Sham Sharani is reporting the NBA is looking into the finger gun gesture by Memphis's Ja Morant toward the Warriors bench last night. League will also look into Golden State guard Buddy Hield's gesture. The NBA suspended Morant twice in 2023 for brandishing a firearm on social media. A night after Denver's Nikola Jokic made another case for NBA MVP, 61 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. The man he's trailing in MVP odds gets a chance again to boost his own credentials. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander leads the league-leading Thunder against the Pistons. First Take host, Stephen A. Smith.
But Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has been spectacular and spectacularly consistent. The man had 4 50-point games since the new year started. Shai going to go out tonight. Yeah, he ain't going to drop 61. Shai will go out tonight, drop 45 or something. This is a 45 and 12 or whatever. He's a model of consistency for the best team in basketball.
OKC Detroit, 9:30 Eastern, ESPN. Carmelo Anthony's been notified he's been elected to this year's class of the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Canty. Coming up Thursday, my former head coach, John Harbaugh, recently signed an extension. I'll tell you if it actually removes him from the hot seat. It's unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
That's right. Woo!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
You so. And Mr. Toby Tomplett. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. 1 hour from right now, LSU commitment Jabari Mack, top-tier wide receiver for the class 2026. He'll be here. We're looking forward to that conversation. A guy who may find himself in the playmaker score projection some 3 or 4 years from right now, which means our next guest will be scoring him. Aaron Schatz from ESPN.com, good enough to jump aboard with us. Also does work over there with For the Numbers. That's FTN. You get it on Twitter at FTN Fantasy. Aaron, we appreciate it, man. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing well, man. I'm, all excited for the draft, just like everyone in the NFL world.
It's so wild, man, how, we get so geeked over something we have no control over and has been proven over time to probably not have as big of an impact as we think, but it's a really exciting time. You put out the playmaker score projections. Let me start with a very easy one. Explain to our audience at a third grade level, what are the playmaker score projections?
Sure. What we're projecting is the average yards per season in the first 5 seasons for top wide receiver prospects based on a number of different variables, mostly having to do with performance in college.
Okay. What are some of the key variables that people could understand?
How many yards and touchdowns you get per team attempt. Because if your team passes the ball a lot, you have a better chance to get yards and touchdowns.
Sure.
We also take into account projected draft position because the scouts do kind of know what they're doing. And we also take into account how old guys are. Are they underclassmen or are they seniors? That's an interesting one because in the past, underclassmen almost always outperformed seniors in the NFL. But now players may stay longer because of NIL money and may not come out as early. So we don't know if that variable is going to matter in the future.
Your rankings actually have a bit of success. Last year, the number one guy on this list was Malik Neighbors. Turns out he was pretty good in his rookie year. Brian Thomas, number 2, pretty good. Roma Dunze, Marvin Harrison Jr., number 4. It turns out you guys may be onto something here. So let's dive into this a little bit further. When you look at last year's class, how would you classify the playmaker score projections from at this point a year ago? Like if you were to classify the whole draft class.
Awesome. Last year was one of the best wide receiver classes of the last 25 years. How
does 2025 compare to 2024?
It's terrible. It's really bad.
Okay.
Last year we had 13 different receiving prospects with a playmaker score over 400. 13. This year we have 4, and one of them may not even play wide receiver in the NFL.
That, of course, would be Travis Hunter. So let's talk about what makes Travis Hunter so elite in this playmaker score projection.
Yeah, I mean, we may be underselling him, frankly. He's super productive compared to how often Colorado threw the ball, and yet at the same time, this is a player who played full-time on defense, so he may not have gotten as much offensive productivity as he could if he concentrated on wide receiver. So he's our number one guy. But, of course, if he plays primarily cornerback, he's not going to match this projection. If he only plays like 10 snaps a game as a wide receiver, he won't match this projection.
A guy that, look, Hunter will be off the board by the time the Saints pick at 9 and being here in Louisiana. That's the focus. Tetairoa McMillan is, though, a guy that a lot of mock drafts have to New Orleans at 9. Tell me what your metrics think of McMillan out of Arizona.
Well, he's all over the map in similar historical prospects. He's number 2 in playmaker score, right? So he had a really great college career. But if you look at his size and you look at, what he's known for, he's similar to Julio Jones, which sounds awesome.
Yeah, love that.
He's similar to N'Keal Harry, which sounds terrible.
Don't love that. Okay, so what do you think he projects more? Is he closer to Julio or closer to Harry?
Kind of halfway in between. I mean, that's the thing is it's difficult to project guys into the NFL, and there really are a range of possibilities. And I think McMillan, because of the fact that he's less about raw speed, has a wider range of possibilities than these other prospects.
When Aaron Schatz is our guest, by the way, Twitter or X at @SchatzNFL. Go give him a follow. Great piece up at ESPN.com talking about the playmaker score projections with these receivers in this class. It's relevant to us because the Saints are most likely to be targeting a receiver, and this apparently is not a great playmaking class. Who are the other guys in this class that do score high?
Yeah, we've got 4 guys, right? So we've got Hunter and we've got McMillan. Then we've got Matthew Golden from Texas. And we have a Luther Burden III from Missouri. And then there's a drop-off to the next few guys.
Tell me what you like about Golden and Burden.
I mean, Golden, in part, we have him as a first-rounder because he's projected as a first-rounder. I know that sounds weird, but, scouts do generally know what they're doing. And we like that he's coming out as a junior instead of a senior. His stats are not as impressive as you might expect because Texas played 16 games, and therefore they threw the ball 541 times. And he had the fastest 40 times at the Combine, but history actually shows that there's no statistical signal in a player's 40 time that you won't already find in his college performance. still, I mean, I don't want this to sound like I don't think he's a really good prospect. He is a really good prospect.
That's interesting. So so effectively you're saying we put too much emphasis on the 40.
Well, certain positions, right?
Okay.
We found that the 40 does have some predictive value. But with the wide receivers, we don't find any predictive value that you wouldn't get from just looking at how good they were in college.
Okay. You obviously study numbers and analytics, but you also have eyes, and I would assume you're a football lover as well. So when you look at the list, projecting the top wide receivers in this class, there has to be someone who you saw play that you thought, man, that's a really good player. I'm surprised they are this low in my metric. What player or players might that be?
To be honest, I don't really have an answer to that because I don't watch that much college football. I really concentrate solely on the NFL. So I haven't seen that much. You watch a little bit of film of these guys, right? But I haven't. It's not like I was watching them all season because I'm really NFL centric.
Are there players on this list that when you've gotten a reaction to your list that people have told you, hey, I think that guy's low?
I did get a lot of my article. I picked LeJohntay Wester from Colorado as a day 3 sleeper, and I got a lot of attaboys, right? I got a lot of we like LeJohntay Wester. That's a good one. So it's less that people were surprised guys were so low and more that they like the sleepers. Isaiah Bond is a day 2 sleeper from Texas, and the day 3 sleeper I have is LeJohntay Wester from Colorado, who played before that at Florida Atlantic. The one guy who we may have a little low is Emeka Egbuka, and that is Ohio State. Now, the thing about Egbuka is that he really went down as a junior in his numbers, and in the senior, he rebounded a little bit. We have a variable that adjusts for if you have to share the field with another top prospect. But it may not be adjusting right for Egbuka because the other top prospect he shared the field with at Ohio State was a freshman, Ryan Williams. And normally we don't count freshmen because normally freshmen don't play like Ryan Williams. So in other words, we may not be giving enough credit for what Egbuka was able to do given that he had to share the field with Ryan Williams.
If you're advising a team that's like the New Orleans Saints, for example, that's thinking of picking a receiver, where in this draft do you think there might be value outside of those top 4? Like, where would these guys historically slot in the draft given what you know about their playmaker score projection?
Late round 2. Late round 2.
So when you mention like your day 3 sleeper with LeJohntay Wester, where is that like are we talking about a round 7 guy or are we talking about a round 4 guy?
No, probably more like a 6, like maybe late 5th or 6th round would be a good play. You'd grab him before people are thinking of him more as an undrafted free agent, and I think he's worth drafting. But you're not going to take him in the 4th round. That would be a stretch.
He is Aaron Schatz. You can get him on Twitter at @SchatzNFL. Really good piece up right now about the playmaker score projection, looking at the receivers in this upcoming draft class. There's a lot of names that we all know as people who love college football. Maybe some of them not as highly thought of according to the computer projections. We'll keep an eye on it. Aaron, we appreciate a couple of minutes, man. Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
All right, man. Enjoy the draft. It is After Further Review. We are brought to you by First South Farm Credit, firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. If you're thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. They've been around for more than 100 years. It's pretty easy, right? You know the old 10,000-hour rule, Malcolm Gladwell's 10,000-hour rule? Well, what if you've done something every day since 1916? What's the 109-year rule? I don't know. It's a lot. The bottom line is the reason you call First South Farm Credit when you're thinking of buying land is because that's all they've done for more than 100 years. They have survived world wars. They have survived economic upticks and downturns. They have survived the Great Depression. It's First South Farm Credit. Go to firstsouthland.com and make your first call to First South Farm Credit. firstsouthland.com. All I appreciate Aaron Schatz for joining us here. About 45 minutes. Excited to talk to Jabari Mack, LSU commitment here for the class of 2026. We'll get to that conversation in a bit. Looking forward to it. It is after further review. We got a ton still to get to. We talked a lot of Saints yesterday. We didn't dive too deep into what Kellen Moore had to say in his media availability. We focused almost solely on his conversations about the backup quarterback, but he went deep dive into a lot yesterday, so we do have to kind of unpack a lot of what Kellen Moore had to say. And a massive day today for Paul Skeens. We'll get to that in Tigers and the Pros here in about half an hour. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
You been to the garage yet? No, not your garage. The garage, the podcast studio for Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. I love the concept. So much of business and commerce and content is content creation now. Gordon did a really smart thing, man. They took literally the garage at one of their facilities, turned it into a podcast studio, and now Gordon sits down with interesting people, members of the G team, and does long-form conversation. So you want to see sit-downs with members of the LSU women's basketball team with Gordon, you could do it. The garage, go to Gordon McKernan's YouTube channel, and you'll see it all right there. Of course, they clip it all short form on all the social media platforms. So make sure you're following them at Get Gordon on all social media platforms. It's Facebook and Twitter and TikTok and Instagram at Get Gordon. It's Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. More than 30 years. They are your local lawyer. They're your hometown attorneys. No matter what town you're in Louisiana, they are near you, so you don't have to travel, and they'll go to fight for you. GetGordon.com, GetGordon.com. Get Gordon and get it done.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
asked you at the beginning of the show to give me your feedback. The LSU men's basketball team is on a heater right now in the portal. They've got 3 additions, and I can tell you definitively they're going to add at least 2 more. They will get to a minimum of 5. Very likely more than that, but minimum 2 more they'll add. And a lot of that's going to depend on who stays and needs and fit and a lot of that stuff. But I asked you if the last 3 days has changed how you feel about men's basketball. It's been interesting because it's almost a unanimous, resounding no. And I'm not sure that I thought definitively that 3 portal commitments would dramatically alter how people felt. But I think it's also impossible to ignore they do have momentum. When you're coming off a season when you were 3-15 and you have not a lot to offer, and you're beating out Kentucky and Florida and landing some of the top prospects in the portal, you have the number 1 portal class right now, like, that's impressive. It goes to show you, money speaks, and they're out spending money. This is on the text line from Lance. Remember, you can always text us in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400. So, Matt, I feel the same way I did at the end of the season. I have no real interest in men's basketball with Matt McMahon at the helm. The portal additions don't move the needle because only one of them is a good piece. The other is a big with low production. The last one is from a small school. I think it's also important to remember that the guy who's very likely going to be the National Player of the Year this year, Janai Broome, started his career at Morehead State. So, let's not forget that this is, in my opinion, one of the – and Cooper Flagg may win National Player of the Year. We'll see how it goes. But I'd give it to Broome if I had a vote. I don't have a vote, whatever. But he'll be in the mix. I think of it this way. Sometimes there are guys who at 17 are late bloomers. And then at 22, they are ready. Do you realize that a guy like Braden Fisk, for example, started his college career at Central Michigan because nobody wanted him? And he goes to Central Michigan, becomes a star there, lands in the transfer portal at Florida State, has an All-America caliber season, goes into the NFL draft to the Rams, and is now a starter. Khalil Mack went to Buffalo. Not the Bills. The university. Buffalo. In this day and age, Khalil Mack would never finish his career at Buffalo. He'd go there, he'd develop into a freak show, then he'd get broke off to go play it at a major power school. And you can bemoan that. I think that's awesome. I think it gives dudes the opportunity to go better themselves. So all that to say, if the reason you're going to poo-poo one of the transfer additions because you went and got a guy that averaged 18 at Omaha and was all conference, I'm not telling you that dude's coming to LSU next year averaging 22 and is going to be all SEC. But if you give me a 6'6" wing that can maybe give me 18 to 20 minutes a night, give me some run, some offense off the bench, some length on the perimeter, you didn't have that this year. You ended up playing a 4-guard lineup at the end of the season because you had no length. So, I feel like some of this is people digging their heels in, man. They are just staunchly against anything they're doing right now, and you're ignoring some of the positives. Again, I got to say this again as clearly as day. I'm not sitting here, I'm not banging the drum telling you they're going to be awesome. I'm telling you the path they're taking, I think, is the right one, as opposed to fire Matt McMahon, pay him a $10 million buyout, go try to raise money to hire a new coach who's going to want the job, by the way, and then also go into the portal and spend for a roster. Like, you know, it seems like a much better plan. Retain your coach who's gotten into the NCAA tournament and shown in the past he can be a good coach, and give him a roster that can compete. That's what they're going to do. And we'll see if he can. I'm curious. Like I've said, give him a month. Give him a month. If at the end of the month, you're looking at a 5, 6, 7-man transfer portal class, that's the number one portal class in the country, and nationally everyone is lauding this portal class, I'm curious if or how you all may feel differently about this. And it's one of the reasons why I'm asking for your feedback today, because I want to get my finger on the pulse of, like, I know where the fan base was at the end of the season. Like, apathy had firmly set in, like, undeniably. Like, apathy was there. When LSU basketball can play conference games against top 10 opponents, we don't even mention it on the show. And I don't get a single question from anybody. Why aren't you talking about the basketball team? That tells you where the fan base is. But, listen, I don't run the LSU athletic department. It ain't my job to tell them what to do. It's my job to have a conversation with you all every day here about things you might find interesting. But I know this much. There are two sports, that are revenue generators. 2. It's football and men's basketball. That's it. Everything else loses money. Your women's basketball team lost $8 million last year. Lost $8 million. But it's a loss leader. You're never going to make money on that sport. But the benefit you get from the promotion is something $8 million or $80 million couldn't buy. So you're going to invest in that sport to be good in it because Kim Mulkey brings eyeballs on TV, on social media, everywhere. She's a lightning rod. Her comments to the student reporter went bonkers. By the way, there was nothing wrong that she said. It was a stupid question from a young person. But, I mean, don't let a student into a post-game press conference, or at least ask them to ask better questions. But anyway, I digress. The point is, with Matt McMahon, he made the NCAA tournament 3 times at Murray State, and it would have been a 4th but for the COVID year. Like, the dude had a 750 winning percentage in conference at Murray State. I get it's Murray State, but you can't tell me the guy doesn't know how to coach basketball when he had that sustained success. And, like, he also won their league the first year at Murray State, but lost the tournament and didn't get a bid. So, the guy can coach. I don't know if he can coach in the SEC. I don't know if he's the right guy for this job. There's plenty of really good coaches that have flamed out in spots because it didn't fit at that spot. But I'm not at a point where I'm going to say definitively he can't until you give him a roster that's capable of competing. And yes, you want to fault him for the roster being what it is? Sure, yes. Talent evaluation, allocation of resources, all of yes, fine, okay. But you also have to understand, if you give him $1.8 million to buy a roster in the deepest league ever, and you're at the bottom of the league in spending, like, what do you expect? Then your expectations have to be on par with what your investment was. All right, it's after further review. Man, I'm excited. Tonight I'm going to go over to Supper Club for dinner. Really excited about this. Got a client dinner tonight over at Supper Club, so I'm going to knock off of work here, get over there. We got a 6:30 reservation. Might see you there. If you're maybe knocking off of work, pop in, say hello. Maybe belly up to the bar, get yourself a cocktail, a glass of wine. Man, they got a fantastic wine list, and they're always bringing in interesting bourbons as well, bourbons and whiskeys. Erica and I were over there a couple of weeks ago, and Chef Layton brought by a couple of new offerings that they had. One was a barrel pick that was fantastic. Anyway, if you want to try rare whiskeys, they got those at Supper Club. You want all the wines, you know, up to $10,000 bottle of wine, they've got those as well. If you want to go in there and have the night of your life, you can do it at Supper Club. You want to go have the best dining experience and the best food for the same price you'd spend at any other fine dining restaurant, you can do that at Supper Club as well. But what no place can recreate is the experience at Supper Club. From the moment you walk in the door and you see that fluorescent Supper Club and script lights on the back wall, you walk into the main dining room and you see how wide open it is, the semicircle booths, the private booths, the tables in the bar area, the beaded wall art, the flooring and carpet that they brought in from Holland. There was just nothing like Supper Club. Not here or anywhere. SupperClubBTR.com for your reservation. SupperClubBTR.com. I'll be there tonight. Hope to see y'all there. If you see me over at Supper Club tonight, y'all come by and say hello. All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. Usually have Tigers of the Pros here in about 15 minutes from right now. When we come back, the Saints are having another interview, a top 30 visit with one of the top prospects in the draft, who actually is my preference for what they do at 9. I'll tell you who it is next on AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by the Watermark and the Renaissance. Watermark Downtown, Renaissance Southtown on Blue Bottom. Remember the Watermark in downtown Baton Rouge? Baton Rouge's premier hotel property. Not just me saying it. You voted the Watermark the best hotel in the best of 225. And I love telling you about the Watermark because it's like explaining a piece of Louisiana's history and Baton Rouge's history. This is the old Louisiana National Bank building. It was Baton Rouge's original high-rise building down on 3rd Street. When you go to the top of the building at the Watermark, you have these beautiful unobstructed views of downtown and the river. It's so cool to just walk into that building and experience the Watermark. Like, let's say you want to have a private dining party. I would so highly recommend you call the Watermark because the Gregory can host you. When you go down that marble staircase, the old bank vaults in the basement, they've hollowed them out into these private meeting and private dining rooms. You can have this private area all to yourself in the bowels of this gorgeous building. You got to check it out. It's downtown. It's Watermark, Baton Rouge.
At Atmos Energy, our smart choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Paul Skeens had himself a day. Muse will tell you about that. Tigers and the Pros coming up here in less than 15 minutes from right now. Looking forward to that. The New Orleans Saints are hosting Mason Graham from Michigan on a top 30 visit. If you're not familiar, in the NFL draft process, they're called top 30 visits because NFL teams are allowed to bring, you guessed it, 30 prospects to their facility for an in-person visit. So you can only have 30 of those, and Mason Graham of Michigan is getting one from the New Orleans Saints. Let me just be very candid here so I'm on the record, and I'll give you my opinion on this, and then we'll work from there, work forwards. My preference for the New Orleans Saints at 9 overall, that is realistic. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, take Cam Ward at 9. He ain't going to be there at 9, okay? Travis Hunter at 9. He ain't going to be there. So, realistic. My preference of what I think is a realistic possibility for the New Orleans Saints is Mason Graham at number 9, the defensive tackle from Michigan. If the draft went perfectly, that's what I would like to see play out. The Saints have tons of needs. I mean, quite literally everything. You need everything. There's no spot on the field where you can look at the New Orleans Saints roster and go, yep, ship-shape there. Next. They need help everywhere. So how do you sort of make sense of need and value? That's where I land on Graham. Now, I'm not certain he'll make it to 9 because he is sort of a consensus number 1 interior defensive lineman in this draft. So the best case scenario for New Orleans, if you want Mason Graham at 9, is you hope the quarterbacks come off the board. Maybe Jackson Dart races up and goes ahead of you. A lot of the offensive guys come off the board. You know, Travis Hunter will be gone. Maybe you look at some of the edge rushers, and you hope that as a result, with all the offensive players going, the defensive players fall, and then maybe Mason Graham is there. He's 6'3". Now, at Michigan this year, he was listed at 320, but at the Combine, he was at 296. Hashtag teams lie. The other thing I like about him is he'll be 22 in September, so he's not one of these like super seniors. He spent 3 years at Michigan. So he's not a guy that went 5 or 6 seasons, so you're seeing a guy go into the NFL at like 24 years old. He's 21 right now. He'll be 21 at the time of the draft. He turns 22 in September. So you still have a guy that's relatively young as well, playing a physical position, and because he only played 3 years, still a lot of tread on the tire. He doesn't necessarily have eye-popping stats. The most sacks he had in a season at Michigan are 3.5. So you're not talking about a guy that was like this dominant interior pass rusher like Ndamukong Suh or Aaron Donald or something like that. But you're talking about a guy that can push the pocket, that can help in the run. He had 47 tackles this year as a junior and was a consensus All-American. A very good interior player. And when I say the Saints need everything, I mean they need everything. Your offensive line was a revolving door, especially at left guard, and then some of the injuries. We know the problem that you have at running back. Obviously, we've talked about quarterback ad nauseum. You've got 2 receivers that you like. Both have been injury-plagued throughout their careers. You definitely need help at tight end. Foster Moreau's contract this year isn't guaranteed, although you just signed Jawan Johnson. You definitely could use help there. We talked about the defensive line. You were bad at end. You got an aging linebacker in Demario Davis alongside Pete Werner, and you just lost Willie Gay to free agency. The top 2 starter, it's that corner from a year ago, Alontae Taylor and Marshawn Lattimore are gone. And then you brought in Justin Reed at safety, and you bring Tyrann Mathieu back. But Tyrann is getting older. You could certainly use a depth piece there and potential future starter. If there's a safety, you can maybe even play in the nickel for you. You need help everywhere. I think I just summarized it pretty successfully. But the reason I would focus on defensive line is because when the New Orleans Saints had the great defenses under Dennis Allen, it was like amid that, like at the centerpiece of those great defenses was that 2 years long run of not allowing a 100-yard rusher. Y'all remember that? The Saints set an NFL record for consecutive games without allowing a 100-yard rusher. It was crazy. Well, last year, the New Orleans Saints were 31st in the NFL in rush defense Only the Carolina Panthers allowed more rushing yards than the New Orleans Saints. You were terrible against the run, and you were 20th in sacks with 39. So you were bottom half of the league in sacks, and you were second to last in run defense. Your defensive front was the cornerstone of your defense. It is bad now. It's bad. And when I look at the roster and what you have, listen, I'm excited about Brian Brzee. I think he really showed progress in year 2, and I think he'll continue getting better. And I love adding Devon Gottschall for all the reasons we've talked about, not just because he's an LSU guy who's from Louisiana, because he's a 330-pound, true zero-tech nose who could push the pocket, who can help against the run, he can pressure the quarterback. You got him affordably. I mean, you traded a 7th-round pick for him. He's on a very affordable deal. There's a lot of reasons to like that addition. After that, what do you have? You have Colin Saunders and Nathan Shepard, who were signed by the previous staff, who don't necessarily fit Brandon Staley's defense. And then you've got Christian Boyd, Ryder Anderson, and John Ridgeway. That's it. Now, I could look at Saunders and Shepard and say, will they even be back this year? But the tricky part is their contracts, because of how you've restructured everything, don't really allow you to move on from either of those guys. For example, Colin Saunders this year, his cap hit is $2.5 million. His dead cap number is 4.6. So it would cost you more for Colin Saunders not to be on your roster this year than to have him on the roster. So Colin Saunders most certainly is going to be on your roster this year. And for Nathan Shepard, his contract number is even worse with the restructure. Shepard this year, his cap number is $3.6 million. His dead cap number is $10.3. So those two guys are basically to say, if you were to cut Nathan Shepard, it would count $10.3 million against your cap. If he's on the roster, it's $3.6 million. It's a $7 million additional hit for him not to be on your roster. So those guys are going to be here, but they don't necessarily fit what you want to do. So you got to maximize what you can for this year before you move on from those guys next year. But what a great opportunity to bring in a guy like Mason Graham on a rookie deal where you'd have a 5th-year option eventually to help fortify the interior of Brandon Staley's defense. That would be my preference. And also, we have seen the Saints historically, certainly over the last quarter century, build through the line of scrimmage with the draft. I mean, just look at what they do at the top of the draft. Fuaga, Penning, Ruiz, all first-round picks. Eric McCoy was a second-round pick, but he was their first pick in that draft. Ramchick was a first-round pick. Andrus Peat was a first-round pick. Brzee was a first-round pick. Peyton Turner, Marcus Davenport, Isaiah Foskey was top of round 2. Sheldon Rankins was a first-rounder. Like, the New Orleans Saints invest at the top of the draft in the line of scrimmage. Like, that's not disputable. It's not debatable. That's what they do. So if this guy is the best interior defensive lineman in the draft, and he's there at 9, and you were that bad on the defensive front a year ago, and he can help fortify that in the immediate short-term and long-term potentially, I'm for it. For me, that's my best-case scenario. You asked me, all right, Matt, you could have it play out however you want, realistically. Not, Cam Ward falls to 9. Travis Hunter falls to 9. No. Like, what's a realistic scenario? If Mason Graham is there at 9, the defensive tackle from Michigan, that would be my best case. That's who I would love to see the Saints take at 9 if he's on the board. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. We're brought to you by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com. lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Gents, if you're thinking of popping the question, there's no better place to go than Lee Michaels. That's not lip service. It's true. The big box stores are cookie cutter. It's impersonal. It's the same selection as everywhere. You go to the boutiques, you're not going to get as good a selection, and the prices are going to be higher because they don't sell in volume, in bulk. At Lee Michaels, because they have 9 stores but are local, they can give you the best of both worlds. They call it the Lee Michaels experience, and from the moment you walk in the door, you get it. They'll offer you chocolates on a tray and something cold to drink, and they'll treat you like you're about to make a special purchase, because you are, and they want you to be thrilled and want her to be thrilled. If she doesn't love it, they accept returns. If they don't have what you want, they'll find it. If they can't find it, they'll make it. That's the Lee Michaels experience. 9 locations in all: Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport, and online at lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. All right, been a really good show so far. We're more than halfway home. Jabari Mack set to join us here in about 17 minutes from right now. Candidly, Destrahan was practicing. He said they were finishing up at 4:30, so he'd be able to join us at 5. If Coach keeps him on the field a little longer, it might be a few minutes after that. But we're scheduled to have Jabari Mack here in about 17 minutes from right now. And a lot to get into in hour number 3 as well, including a look at the Saints draft history, because Pro Football Focus graded out each of last year's draft class now having their production from their rookie seasons. We'll tell you where New Orleans landed. That's coming up here in about half an hour. Glad you're hanging out on a hump day edition of AFR presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
After further review.
Hey, I want to take 60 seconds and remind you about our friends over at Action Industries, and most importantly, the Advanced Turnaround Group. Turnaround season is here, y'all. You know you work at the petrochemical, the refinery markets. The Advanced Turnaround Group, that's the turnaround division at Action Industries. And they're just the best. Like Action Industries, which has been rooted in our community since 1982, they've grown sensibly. I love telling their story because Action Industries knows what they are. Look, they're mega contractors that do these $200 million jobs. That's not Action Industries. That's not who they want to be. You have that 100-person job, that's their sweet spot. You ever hire the mega contractors for your 100-person job and feel like you're not getting their best? Well, at Action Industries, you'd be their top priority. So when turnaround season comes and you want the best who's going to give you personalized customer service, 24-hour availability for emergencies, specialty welding, you'd want the Advanced Turnaround Group at Action Industries.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. My whole team on wild.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar, but instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and the Baton Rouge Clinic bring you the 2025 Dreams Come True Radiothon. Dreams Come True is an organization designed to help grant dreams for children and their families with life-threatening illnesses. The following local businesses have also pledged to match your donations throughout the month: Lewis Mechanical, Patient Plus, and Action Industries Plus, Subaru of Baton Rouge, Service Chevrolet, Luba, and Duplessis Pool Builders. Visit 1045ESPN.com to help us reach our goal, and together we can make dreams come true.
What was the commercial that just ran about Runaway June? Brittany Rose voiced it. It was something. Do you see it in there?
Let me see.
Is it a concert coming up?
Hold on.
The only reason I remember that, this is a wild memory. So here at our radio group at Guarantee Media, we have 4 radio stations. One of them is 100.7 The Tiger, which is a country station, and they've been, the number one country station, this and that forever. They're awesome. Well, I remember. So my office is on the 4th floor, and we have a big sort of open area on the 4th floor, a big meeting room. We call it Studio 4. And so a lot of times when artists come in town, you'll see artists playing at radio stations and stuff like that, different hits and things. They always go up there and do a mini concert. Well, I thought I remembered Runaway June, and I looked it up on YouTube, and sure enough, I found this video. It's 3 women. It's an all-girl group. It's 3 women. I remember them because they had these amazing harmonies. It was stunning how good they were. I'm sure that's like Nashville, just the old thing is just walk into any place in Nashville and there's all these talented people. But I remembered them, and sure enough, I found it. So they're playing here soon?
The spot isn't titled that. So, I see a house spot in there, something with Lod Cook, and there's one in Greystone that they might be. There's a.
I'll have to ask Jimmy or something. Let's see.
Oh, that's what I was hearing when I was talking.
I know this picks up a lot. Hang on. I'm going to fast forward. I'm trying to find one of the harmonies. Don't make a liar out of me. All 3 y'all need to sing. They were incredible. I'm not a country fan, and for me to remember something 8 years ago and remember their name was pretty impressionable. Anyway, I'm curious where they're playing. They were fantastic. I don't know if they're really popular now or not, but that was Runaway June.
I'll find it on their website.
I'll ask Jimmy. He'll know.
Okay.
All right, Muse, Tigers and the Pros. Hit it. Go. Let's do it. Yay.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
Paul Skeens Shove Day. Gather around, all who celebrate. And it was a really, really good one. Skeens took on the Rays, went 7 innings, gave up 3 hits, 1 run. It was unearned. Didn't walk anybody, struck out 6. 102 pitches, 72 of them from strikes. His first win of the season. Should have been a second, but Pirates couldn't score enough last time out. And this was Skeens' 25th start in his Major League career, which means he made a bit of history. 25, good milestone, right? I think so. He owns a 1.92 ERA and 183 strikeouts in 25 career starts. He's the only pitcher in MLB history to have 175 or more strikeouts and a sub-2 ERA in his first 25 games. He continues to baffle.
So Runaway June is playing at the St. Jude Golf Tournament on April 28th. That's got to be the Greystone thing.
So that's the one, yeah. Okay.
By the way, shout out to Breck Golf, our great on-demand sponsor. Yes. So go play golf at Breck. This golf tournament just happens to be at Greystone where Runaway June's going to play. Shout out to Breck Golf. Book your tee time at golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org. Breck Golf.
Josh Smith.
Callahan!
He's on the board.
Let's go.
Here we go. On the board. 1 for 3. It was a double. It drove in a run as well.
Oh, no.
What?
There's a new singer. They're only playing acoustically, but it said you're totally welcome to come. Okay.
There you go.
I don't know how I feel about that without the singer.
When is it?
April 28th.
April 28th.
26 days from right now. Math. I'm a math guy. Muse. Didn't know if you knew that. Big math.
Oh, yeah. Sure. Jake Fraley was 1 for 3. He's on the board. Finally. His was a single. Dylan Cruz wore the collar again. Still waiting to get on the board. But did you see the catch he made?
No, I didn't.
Oh, man. Bo Bichette up for the Jays. Little sinking liner into right field, or excuse me, into center field where Cruz was playing today. Diving snag from Dylan. I think Paul's pulling it up for us right here. There we go on the back screen. Boom. So good. Well, it'll replay. You got to check this out. I mean, just about full extension in Rogers Center, if they even still call it that. Just a great snag by Cruz. Need to get him on the board with the hit, though, man.
Let's get going.
Need to get him on the board. Get him on the board with the hit. That's Tigers in the Pros.
While you were doing that, I just took a nice healthy swig of Evermore. Because while I'm a fan of Runaway June, also a fan of Evermore and Brett Golf. Drink Evermore. EVAMOR. By the way, if where you shop, they don't have Evermore, ask to speak to the manager and be like, what kind of mismatched place is this? What kind of hole in the wall are you running if you're not carrying Evermore, the greatest water in the history of God's green earth? And that's a literal truth. Thousands of years in the making. The underground aquifers, it's natural artesian water, and it's a Louisiana product. So stop being like Muse. Buying that crappy, crinkly plastic water bottle from Texas. Actually care about your body, Muse. Put the best water in the world in it and support Louisiana. I don't know why you hate Louisiana and your body.
I don't hate Louisiana.
Clearly you do.
No.
Actions speak louder than words, Muse. Drink Evermore. EVAMOR, Evermore.com. All right, it is After Further Review. Hump Day Show is brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. We'll knock out a quick break. Set to be joined by Jabari Mack, LSU wide receiver commit. Again, he's going to be heading off the practice field. He might be a little bit late, so if we have to bump in a segment, we will. But Jabari Mack's coming up here shortly. Also, PFF graded out the Saints draft class from last year after all their rookie seasons. You got to hear this. We'll get to it. It's AFR. Stick around.
After Further Review.
All right, y'all, putting a button here on hour number 2. Tell you about Parish Restoration. We had a lot of rain in the area on Monday, hail in some spots as well. When you get high wind, heavy rain, hail, things like that, roof damage, a lot of times with that comes water intrusion. If you had water intrusion, think you might call Parish Restoration. Normally, you start to notice it when you see the little water spots on the ceiling. And when you got water spots on the ceiling, that means that water's probably been accumulating for a while. Louisiana is the world's leader. It's the mold capital of the world. Why? Because it's wet and humid here. It's a breeding ground for mold. And if you got mold, you got a problem for your family's health, for your health. So make sure you call Parish Restoration. It's a patented non-toxic dry fog treatment. It'll knock out mold, other harmful pathogens, and get rid of things like odor. It's Parish Restoration. Log on, parishrestoration.com.
You work hard every day to pursue a life you love. You put in the time, and it shows. You're forging ahead, chasing a dream, creating something better for the ones you love. You're building your own life. So why not build your own tractor? With John Deere tractors and attachments for almost any need, the Sunshine team can help you do just that. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. ESPN's Sham Sharani is reporting the NBA is looking into the finger gun gesture by Memphis's Ja Morant toward the Warriors bench last night. The NBA suspended Morant twice in 2023 for brandishing a firearm on social media. 76ers center Joel Embiid will have arthroscopic surgery on his left knee next week, his second knee surgery in 14 months. Dodgers slugger Freddie Freeman out the last 2 games after injuring his surgically repaired right ankle following a fall in his shower at home, hoping to return tonight against the Braves. 7-0 Dodgers off to their best start since moving to L.A. ESPN MLB analyst Tim Kirkjian.
They have one of the deepest starting rotations I've ever seen. The depth that they have through their entire team, not just the rotation, is absurd. The way they can throw a lineup out there, they are so loaded. They won the World Series last year, and they're demonstrably better right now.
Tim Kirkjian on Clinton and Friends. Ole Miss men's basketball coach Chris Beards informed the school he's staying with the Rebels following discussions he had with Texas A&M about its coaching vacancy.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive is here for all of life's needs, with protection for your home, auto, business, and more. From timely repairs to customizable coverages and payment options, we make it easy. See if you can save at Progressive.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
That's right. Woo!
Hour 3 off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
You sue. And Mr. Toby Tom, play. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock. Quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. Otter Locks to wrap up the hour. LSU football riding a heater on the recruiting trail. A couple of weeks ago, they went boom, boom, boom. 3 big-time prospects back to back to back, including that was the number 1 wide receiver in Louisiana for the class of 2026 out of Destrehan, which has been one heck of a pipeline for the Tigers. It is Jabari Mack. Good enough to join us for a couple of minutes here. Hey, Jabari, we appreciate it, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are y'all?
You're doing awesome. We appreciate a couple of minutes today. Let's start with the most obvious one. Why'd you pick LSU?
I picked LSU because I feel like it was really the best fit for me. I feel like I've been holding out on them because I've really always felt this way. You know, the coaching staff, they've always shown love, and I just feel like the system supports me the best.
Okay, lots of good stuff. Let's kind of dive into that a little bit. So you talked about the coaching staff. What is your relationship like with, I would assume Cortez Hankton was kind of leading the charge there for you. What's your relationship like with Coach Hankton?
My relationship is great. I feel like it would really probably be like a father-son relationship, just based on how much we talk. It isn't always football. It's about life sometimes, and that's I really feel like that's the best part about it.
Is that common, Jabari? Like, you're going through this recruiting process and have been for a long time. Like, I'll never be recruited anywhere. Do a lot of coaches develop that kind of relationship, or for most of them, is it like just ball?
I really feel like they don't, and that's something coaches should get more into, because a lot of athletes, after football, they pretty much don't know what to do. So, I feel like a lot of coaches really got to reach deeper into the athlete, and that's what Coach Hank do with me.
Who else on the staff has been active in your recruiting?
Coach Sloan, Coach Frank, and many more behind the scenes.
Yeah.
But those are the main ones, to be honest.
What about, you mentioned the system, right? The system's good for you. I would assume that's a lot of what you talked about with Coach Sloan. So he's got this great reputation, right, as a great recruiter, and certainly now as an offensive guy. What's your relationship like with Coach Sloan?
My relationship with Coach Sloan is great. Just like Coach Hank, really the whole LSU coaching staff is really like a family. So it's never always about football. It's about how's life, and that's really the biggest thing for me.
Why did you make the decision to pop now, Jabari? Obviously, December is a long way away, and you could have waited, but you made the decision to commit now. Why'd you do that?
Well, I've really always, ever since last year, my coach, he's been talking to me about committing before the season. But the day I committed on during the spring practice, it was really early for me, because that wasn't the due date. But at that moment in time, I just feel like it was right, because after all my meetings with all the coaches, Coach BK, Coach Sloan, Coach Hankton, and just seeing the environment of the practice, I feel like it was the right moment. So that's why I committed.
You mentioned BK. Sometimes guys get to spend a lot of time with the head coach, sometimes not so much. What's been your experience with Coach Kelly?
My experience with Coach Kelly has been great. We've talked a lot, mostly on the phone, but after practice, we got a great chance to just chat it up and talk about how I fit in their system and their program.
Jabari Mack is our guest. What's interesting, Jabari, too, is when I look, with Tristan Keys committed, you committed now as well. Some are saying this might be the most talented wide receiver class LSU's ever recruited, even better than the year with Malik and Brian Thomas and Deion Smith and Jack Besh and Chris Hilton. You guys talk about that, about all coming to play together?
Yeah, I've talked to Tristan Keys a little bit, but never really about going to LSU together. But after I committed, we definitely talked a little bit. He congratulated me, and yeah, but we have yet to talk about our future together. So.
You'll get him on Twitter at JabariMack7. You get him on Instagram as well. Hey, Destrehan has been a pipeline to LSU, man. Collage is there now. Jace Thomas is coming on campus. You're committed. We can go back and talk about Jordan and Justin and Ricky Jefferson, John Emery. Glenn Logan, this long list of dudes from Destrehan. Why do so many dudes from Destrehan pick LSU?
Well, I can't really say what the others' reasons were, but LSU is just a great school. Being able to stay home, and it also being the top program in the nation, that's the best for guys in Louisiana, I would say.
Jabari, I'm curious as well. You're a young guy going into your senior year. Guys continue growing and developing. They got you listed right now at 6 foot 200. You've been measured lately. Like, where are you right now? Where would you like to play at when you get to LSU?
Yeah, right now I'm at 6'1", 200. and I feel like right now is a great playing weight for me. I just gotta put on some more muscle, and yeah.
What would you like to work on your senior year?
During my senior year, I would like to work on just recognizing the defense and being able to work off of what they do.
Who's the best defensive back you've ever had to go against?
The best DB I ever had to go against? I honestly don't know. Actually, a lot of them, I feel like they really can't guard me. So.
Probably not, dude. At that level, man, I mean, there's a reason why you're you. Probably a lot of guys have trouble running with you. Hey, a couple more for you. I think you told me that you're going to visit Texas this weekend. So what does the rest of your recruitment look like? You're going to go on other visits? How does that all work?
Yeah, I'll still be going on all my official visits. You know, just to get the experience. You know, my family, they love all the experiences, so that would be a big thing for me. Just letting them get to see other places outside of Louisiana.
Heck yeah, man. Man, dude, if someone was going to pay for me to go all over the country and see play, you better believe I'd be doing that, man. Smart to do it. Hey, last thing for you. I remember having this conversation with Malik a few years back, and he was talking about how important it was for him to be like the next great receiver from Louisiana to go to LSU, right? Like Odell and Jarvis and Jamar and the whole lineage of receivers. Is that something that you think about, being a guy from Louisiana, getting to add your name to that legacy?
Yeah, definitely. Just because of, you know, they're the greats. They are and were the greats in the NFL. So being able to put my name on that list would be legendary.
He is Jabari Mack, 4-star wide receiver out of Destrehan, soon to be LSU Tiger. Hey, man, appreciate a couple of minutes today. Good health and good luck in your senior season. We look forward to catching up down the line, all right?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
That's our pleasure. That's Jabari Mack. You'll follow him on Twitter and Instagram. Give him a shout-out. Congratulate him on committing to the Tigers, and thank you for coming on here today. We appreciate a couple of minutes. Again, he just got off the practice field at 4:30 and then took that call. So appreciate very much Jabari for making that happen. And by the way, I wholeheartedly agree with him about taking your visits. I think if any young person, just think about where you or I or any of us were at 17 years old. Like, how many of us actually get the opportunity to go see things, to go see college campuses, to go see the country at 17? And someone else is going to pay to fly you there and put you and a family member up and take you around the tour of the campus and see the facilities and a different part of the country and food. Like, what an amazing experience at 17 years old. I mean, yeah, you got them committed. You hate to see them go on the visits because they're trying to work to flip them. But, you know, that's on the coaching staff to make sure they keep them firmly committed. But heck yeah, go on your visits, man. I wish I could, man. I know people like guys who have told me point blank they regret not going on their visits because, like, let's say hypothetically they were committed to LSU. We've had guys that committed to Nick Saban who said if you go on that visit, your offer no longer stands here. And so you had guys who canceled their visits because they didn't want to lose their opportunity to play at LSU, and in hindsight wish they had gone on their visits. Because, I mean, it's probably just a bluff by Nick. But, yeah, man, go on your visits. Go see the world. That's awesome. Appreciate Jabari Mack for a couple of minutes here. Tigers, #1 recruiting class in the country right now for 2026 and still looking to build on it. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen and SouthPointVW.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at SouthPointVW.com. That's SouthPointVW.com. If you're in the market for a new vehicle or might be, get on by and see our friends over at South Point. Better yet, start at the website. You know, the average car buyer visits 1.2 dealerships now before making a purchase. Like, I remember buying my first car. We took a Saturday and we drove to like 6 different dealerships, test drove a whole bunch of different vehicles. Like, that just don't happen no more. Like, people, you go to the website, you shop, and then you go test drive the vehicle and you buy it. Like, right now, the Volkswagen deal days are going on right now. How about a 2025 VW Jetta Sport for $23,524? You're saving nearly $2,400 on that vehicle. $2,500 customer bonus on 2025 Atlas. You can get all the specs at the website at SouthPointVW.com. You can see the inventory. You can work out your financing. There's even videos and tutorials and all that about all the different vehicles in their line, all the different models. You can check it out at SouthPointVW.com. It's South Point Volkswagen, What's your direction? All right, y'all. Been a really good day, man. Glad you're hanging out with us here. You miss anything AFR On Demand presented by Brett Golf. Aaron Schatz was here last hour from ESPN.com. Thanks to Jabari Mack for joining us just there. We did start the show today talking about another transfer for the LSU basketball program, and I kind of left it open-ended, asking for your feedback, basically asking you, not rhetorically, like, has the last 3 days, last 72 hours, changed the way you feel about the basketball program, where there was tremendous apathy that had set in? Well, right now, it's early, but LSU is the number one portal class in college basketball right now. And you've got even more guys visiting that are targets. So just curious, kind of getting a feel for the pulse of where you all are for the basketball program right now as they are enacting this strategy that they've tried to put into place. Now, it hasn't netted you a single win yet, but they said they were going to go spend in the portal and improve the roster, and they're doing that. So I'm curious kind of where you all collectively stand. So if you got a feeling, you can feel free to let me know. Email me, tweet me, text me, the 225-396-4400, 396-4400. You can jump in the Bayou Ford YouTube chat as well on the Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. If you're watching on YouTube, by the way, do us a solid. Please smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. We appreciate you for being there with us. Okay, quick break. When we come back, the PFF has graded all 32 teams' draft classes from a year ago using the sample size of their rookie seasons. So now, knowing how these guys' rookie season played out, they grade the draft classes from a year ago. What does that tell us about how much confidence we should have in the New Orleans Saints' ability to execute this year's draft? We're getting on that next. It's AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. Y'all get on by, see our friends at Rouse's. Maybe you're heading home, you want dinner tonight, you don't feel like cooking, no worries. Rouse's has tons of hot and boiled, grab-and-go, ready-to-go options. It's Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. By the way, you can get on by Rouse's. When you walk in, you can see the hot and boiled kiosks. That's where they have the boiled crawfish, the boiled shrimp, corn and potatoes, all the good stuff. Maybe you want sushi. Grab-and-go sushi is available over at Rouse's. They also have got so many great options, no matter what you're looking for. Go to the meat market, grab some steak or fish to throw on the grill. They got you covered. All your fresh fruits and vegetables. I love the fact that Rouse's always tries, whenever they can, to source locally. So get on by and see our friends over at Rouse's. Rouse's.com. Rouse's, this feels like home.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely on Mountain Cold Refreshment. Dave's back on. Coors Light. Choose chill.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Remember, at Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness, lowest prices, never any contracts. Men, just go for that blood test. Just go for that blood test. You'll get the results before you leave the office. I'll let you know if you're a candidate for HRT, and you can get to feeling like your younger self again. Yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com. We are just over 3 weeks from the NFL draft. I'm fired up for it. Tell you this every year. Admittedly, I am a draft junkie. I will sit there and watch all 3 days of the NFL draft. A gigantic part of the draft that I love is the understanding that in the appreciation of what roster spots 50, 51, 52, 53 mean. And that's never been more illustrative than, like, look at what happened to the New Orleans Saints this year. I mean, you had a revolving door on your offensive line. I mean, everybody on that line this year got hurt, except for Trevor Penning, oddly enough, who's an anchor at right tackle. But think about all the flux you had at that position. So, yeah, man, like when you're battling for roster spot 53 and you're the rotational offensive lineman, that's probably going to be on special teams. But if someone goes down, you got to be versatile enough to play guard or center because you're a valuable roster spot. That's why a guy like Will Clapp is so important. But you find these types of guys in the draft. We focus so much on what you're going to do with the first round, but your depth in the draft is what matters so much. Well, Pro Football Focus used their metrics after all of the players from 2024, the 24 draft class, played out their rookie seasons, and now advance of the 2025 draft, they've gone and graded based on wins above replacement for all these players in their rookie season a year ago to try to determine the ranking. So it's all the different things like snap counts, cumulative wins above percentage to grade out the rookie draft classes. So, for example, the best draft class from this past year was the LA Rams. They had a PFF WAR wins above replacement of 0.68. You had Jared Verse, Braden Fisk, Cam Kitchens, who had great coverage. Omar Spates had a 77.6 PFF run defense grade. All these guys became starters. Jordan Whittington, Bo Limmer played over 1,000 snaps in a contributing role. So the Rams had the best draft class according to PFF. The Commanders, naturally led by Jaden Daniels, number 2. The Giants, number 3. Followed by the Raiders, Eagles, Chargers. You can keep going. Still not at the Saints yet. Niners, Broncos. And truth is, y'all, you got to scroll a long way before you get to New Orleans. I'm not going to bury the lead here. According to the PFF wins above replacement grade, the New Orleans Saints draft class from 2024 graded 25th in the NFL. Now, Kool-Aid McKinstry was a highlight, as they note, of one of the worst NFL defenses. He was top 10 among qualified rookie cornerbacks in PFF coverage grades. That's good. Taliese Fuanga also established himself as a solid left tackle at a 65.7 overall grade. But they note the collective value of the rookies was really tanked by Spencer Rattler. Rattler having to play as much as he did, and he had a 49.4 passing grade and a turnover-worthy play rate of 4.9%. Pretty bad. So I look at it and I go, okay, do we really trust that the New Orleans Saints front office is going to nail this? You got 9 draft picks. Do we believe there's actually going to be a representative hit rate that they're going to turn these guys into contributors? It's easy to look at your first-round pick, Taliesin Fuanga, who became a starter. Awesome. Kool-Aid McKinstry, of course, whenever you traded Marshawn Lattimore and Paulson Adebo got hurt, became a starter. Good. After that, look at the rest of the draft, y'all. You didn't have a 3 or a 4. Spencer Rattler was your 5. Bub Means was a 5, not on the team. Jalen Ford was a 5. You had 3 fifth-round picks. Christian Boyd was a 6, signed to the practice squad. And then Josiah Ezereem was your 7. Outside of your top 2 guys, Fuaga and McKinstry, which is where you want to make sure you hit, you didn't get a lot. And we focus so much on the 2017 draft class, and with good reason. It's the greatest draft class in Saints history and one of the greatest draft classes of all time. Lattimore, Pro Bowler. Ramchick, All-Pro. Marcus Williams, Alvin Kamara in round 3, Anzalone in round 3, Hendrickson in round 3, Al-Qadim Muhammad, who's still hanging around the league. You had every dude on that roster make the team become contributors. And after that in 2017, I know my point of view became, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. When the Saints in 2018 traded up to get Marcus Davenport, I was like, you know what? If they've gone through their evaluations, they're bullish on a guy, they want to give up an asset to go get him because they think he's going to be awesome, they've earned the benefit of the doubt. Hey, look, I crushed them in 2017 for trading up to get Alvin Kamara. Remember, you had Mark Ingram, and in that offseason, you signed Adrian Peterson. Then they go into the draft, and they trade up for a running back. I was like, what the hell are you doing? Well, ultimately, they cut Adrian Peterson, or traded Adrian Peterson, and Kamara became the all-time touchdown leader in franchise history. But look at what's happened since. Like, you could only live off that dead carcass for so long. 2018, Marcus Davenport, Traquan Smith, Rick Leonard, Natrell Jamerson, Cameron Moore, Boston Scott, and then Will Clapp. The 2 best picks were your last 2 picks, and neither are on the team. Well, Will Clapp's back, but anyway. 2019, you didn't have a first-round pick. You drafted Eric McCoy, you hit. You drafted C.J. Garner-Johnson, you traded him. Saquon Hampton, Alizé Mack, and Caden Ellis. You couldn't re-sign Caden Ellis. 7th-round pick you hit on, you couldn't keep him. Go to 2020. Cesar Ruiz, Zach Bond, we know the story there. Adam Troutman never materialized. Tommy Stevens, what a joke. You go into 2021. Peyton Turner, another whiff on a first-rounder. Pete Werner's been a good player when he's been healthy. Same with Paulson Adebo, but he's gone now. Ian Book was here for a year, then he's gone. Landon Young's been a versatile offensive lineman for you, and then Kawan Baker. 22 was Olave, Penning, Alante Taylor, DeMarco Jackson, and Jordan Jackson. That draft class has largely been mired in injury, and Trevor Penning being kind of a bust, but maybe trying to salvage himself a little bit. 23 was Brzee, which feels like a hit. Foskey, which is a miss. Kendre Miller, a miss. Nick Saldiveri, you trade up to the first pick of day 3. He hasn't been a contributor for you. Jake Haener, Jordan Howden, A.T. Perry, no longer on the team. And then we just went through 2024. The point is, they made 41 selections. They've drafted 41 players. They've drafted 41 players since that 2017 draft class. Who would you count a hit? Maybe 10 guys of the 41 since 2017? Fuanga, McKinstry, Brzee. Olave, I guess we count as a hit. Pete Werner. Eric McCoy. I mean, it's slim pickings. Like, the sample size of misses has now overwhelmed that spectacular 2017 draft class, which makes us all think that's the outlier. That's the exception, not the rule. And they don't deserve the benefit of the doubt. So my giant question for this year's draft class is, How much of that was Sean Payton, Dennis Allen, who are no longer here? How much was Mickey Loomis, Jeff Ireland, who are still here? How much influence will Kellen Moore have? And I don't know the answer to that. So this is one of those years where you're going to go into the draft process, realizing there's one very different variable. There's no more Peyton, Dennis Allen, no more ties that bind of that era in that draft room. It's Mickey and Jeff Ireland, but then it's Kellen Moore. So if you see a different strategical approach, that's a pretty good indicator that Kellen Moore's got a pretty heavy hand in that room. And if not, it's more of the same. And do we really trust him to get it right? It's fascinating when you go to a year like this, because when you're a roster that has so many needs, it's hard to go wrong. It's like fishing with dynamite. Like, just throw it in the water. I mean, something's going to come up that you need. I mean, you're going to go draft positions that you need. But are they going to be guys that consistently contribute for you? Start to get those answers here in about 3 weeks. All right, it's After Further Review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. Brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. If you want to see 2020, call 924-2020. The thing I always encourage you to do, man, is just go for that consultation. You know, Ryan is the consultant. You'll talk to her whenever you call up there. You can do this on your lunch break. You can do it in your car. You can go in and sit down face-to-face, and that's great. But remember, this isn't a sales pitch. This is just information gathering. It's the first step. It's the first step, is just have that consultation, let them gather some information so then they'll know what is the best procedure for you and your specific refractive issue. Maybe it's LASIK. Maybe it's PRK. Maybe it's a custom lens replacement. Maybe it's EVO ICL. ICL is the implantable contact lens. That's an alternative to LASIK. If you don't want to change the shape of your eye, this is a completely reversible procedure. Again, you can get all this information and decide if this is a path for you. Ditch the contacts and glasses forever. The Williamson Eye Center can make it help. Can help make it happen. 924-2020 or WilliamsonEye.com. Okay, y'all, it is After Further Review. We're glad you're with us. You can email us, tweet us, or text us in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400. We're talking about the men's basketball transfers, and if you're feeling any better about it. Dave said, I'm all in for men's basketball. 3 interesting transfers already. Very interested, very hopeful. Joey Kent said, Matt McMahon is letting his nuts hang. Can we say that?
I like that guy. He's into it.
Can we say that?
I mean, you just did, so yeah.
I guess so.
You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube, Matt.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
I don't know that it would go that far with what he said about Matt McMahon. I think what you have very clearly is an administration working with the collective, which has done a tremendous job fundraising, as we've chronicled in the last 8 months, of saying we are going to allocate funds for basketball because we want to be good in men's basketball. It's the biggest missed opportunity on campus. There's 2 revenue generators. There's 2. It's football and men's basketball. That's it. It's the only 2 sports that make money. Everything else loses money. And if you're not maximizing men's basketball, why not? Like, Auburn isn't a great traditional power. They just decided they were going to invest to be good. So they hired Bruce Pearl, they built a new arena, and they spent $8 million on this roster. And they're a number 1 seed, the number 1 overall national seed. They're in a Final Four. Like, are you willing to invest? Hopefully we get the word about a new arena soon. Clearly they're investing in the roster. Is Matt McMahon the right coach? Time will tell. I'm not telling you because they got 3 transfers out of the portal that solves it. He's the guy. I'm not telling you that. But I'm also not going to throw dirt on him because he didn't win with the worst roster in the league. Give him time. Okay, quick break. Feel free to jump aboard if you want. Email us, tweet us, or text us, 225-396-4400. Auto locks in 15 minutes. The posts are already up. The pics are already up at LouisianaSports.net for free if you want them. LouisianaSports.net. Auto locks in 15 minutes. It's AFR.
AFR.
85 degrees. It's 85 degrees. On April the 2nd, it's 85 degrees. This ain't May, y'all. It's April the 2nd, it's 85 degrees. It's a really good reminder of what is staring us in the face. About 5 months of everyday triple-digit heat indexes. Is your AC ready? Y'all, we've all been, you own a home, you've been there. You wake up in the morning or you come home and it's hot because your AC went out. We've all been there. You want to prevent that? River City's 1 Hour Air. Preseason AC tune-up, y'all. This is designed as preventative maintenance. Catch little issues now before they become big, expensive issues later. 752-0001 for River City's 1 Hour Air.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team color, team swag, and now your very own website. LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always. No paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net. Powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Join LSU Athletics and the Tiger Athletic Foundation for Bayou Tradition's second annual gala, a Louisiana Saturday night featuring Jordan Davis on the field in Tiger Stadium Saturday, May 3rd. We are giving you on-field access. You can register to win a spot at our table at LouisianaSports.net. Support LSU student-athletes' NIL opportunities and reserve your table at lsutaf.org/events.
Okay, I know you just read that, but I should know the answer to this, but I don't see it on the website. How do you enter for that at LouisianaSports.net? Is it just subscribing to the newsletter?
I thought there was a link on there. There used to be a link on there to. Let
me go to 1045 ESPN.
You can also go there as well. 1045ESPN.com.
See if it's here. Dreams Come True Radiothon is there. We need to get this on LouisianaSports.net if it's not there. There's the newsletter. Listen to the tournament. I don't see the link. This may be why. So, like, I was floored by this because we were looking at numbers earlier today in our managers meeting, and our entries at 104.5 ESPN are very low for this giveaway, and the other radio stations are like
high.
10x ours. I'm like, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, we're the sports station, and a lot of people listen, and this is an opportunity to go to the Bayou Traditions Gala on the field in Tiger Stadium. Okay, like this is a giant fundraiser. You get a free ticket. We have a table, and it'll be 2 seats, and you get to go to this event on May the 3rd in Tiger Stadium on the field. The coaches will be there from all different sports, boosters, benefactors. Jordan Davis is playing on the field. Did I mention on the field in Tiger Stadium?
You did.
Food, booze, all the stuff. Like it's a gala. The stuff. And we're giving away, we have a table. We're giving away seats at our table, our 104.5 ESPN table. Now I'm going to Pearl Jam at Jazz Fest. So I ain't going to be there. I would love to be there, but I ain't going to be there because I'm going to be at Pearl Jam. Pearl Jam ain't been at Jazz Fest since 2010. So I'm going to Jazz Fest.
And knowing you enjoy Pearl Jam much more than you would enjoy Jordan Davis.
Yeah.
Although he's great.
Not just Jordan Davis.
Yeah, any country. Yeah.
But it's an NIL fundraiser. And I mean, media, it's a weird blurred line to cry. Anyway, whatever. But, like, awesome thing.
Extremely cool.
I don't know where we sign up.
Yeah.
This is a problem.
Yeah, you're supposed to be able to sign up at both.
Look, there it is. All right. 1045ESPN.com. All right, I got to get this button added to Louisiana Sportsnet pronto. Go to 1045ESPN.com. Pull this up, Paulie. If you go to contests at the top of the page, there's a drop down. Field Access Bayou Traditions Gala. There it is. There it is.
Right there. That's the logo.
Okay. And there's the enter to win. Got to get that up at LouisianaSports.net like pronto. But that's a cool prize, right? I'm not dreaming.
That's an awesome prize. That's one of the cooler things we've given away. And we've given away a lot of cool stuff.
I mean, we gave away a man cave,
which was awesome.
We gave away an outdoor kitchen,
which was also awesome.
Gave away a car.
It's always good.
Yeah. Gave away a boat.
Can't beat it.
This is all in the history of this station.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is going over a long time. We've done some cool things. This is cool. We gave away Taylor Swift tickets.
Did that.
Which that was bonkers, by the way. Shout out to Mockler Beverage, which gave us 2 seats in their suite for Taylor Swift. I don't care what Eric and I went to the show. Best show I've ever been to in my life, by the way. Incredible.
That speaks volumes. You've been to a lot.
I've been to a lot of shows.
You've been to a lot of shows.
Best show I've ever been to. Not close. Best show I've ever been to in my life.
Garth tickets. Did that.
We did Garth tickets.
And that was another cool Tiger Stadium type deal.
Yeah. We done a lot. We gave a giveaway to LSU in Texas in 2019.
The big game in Austin. I remember that.
The big game in Austin. Remember the big game in Austin?
I remember the big game in Austin.
The big game in Austin.
The big game in Austin.
Yeah, we gave away a trip to the big game in Austin. That's what we did. Were you on this show at that time?
I was on OTB.
You were on OTB at that time.
Yeah. I think everybody leaned into the big game in Austin there.
Big game in Austin. It was a big game.
It was awesome. It was third and 17.
And it was in Austin.
Sent a couple people to go see that.
Yeah, we did. But this is on the field in Tiger Stadium. The fact that Eagle and Tiger have more entries than us is baffling to me. Like, this is our demo.
Yeah.
Hey, go hang out for a night on the field at Tiger Stadium. Coaches will all be there from all sports, not just football. Like because it's it's fundraiser. It's Bayou Traditions,
exactly.
So it's not just for football. It's for everybody. Food, booze, on the field in Tiger Stadium. Jordan Davis will be there. Fundraiser, live auction, see and be seen. Who's who? What? Like, dog. When I saw the number of entries today, I was like, it's almost as if people have no idea this is the thing.
Yeah.
So we're not doing a very good job of letting people know, or they know where to go sign up.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, 1045ESPN.com, the contest tab, hit the drop down, and you'll see the Field Access Bayou Traditions Gala, and you literally just fill out you just put an email address. That's it. Like, you just put an email address in your entry.
That's easy. Like that's really easy.
good. It's a good prize.
It's a great prize.
Paulie, is that a good prize? Feels like a good prize.
That's awesome.
Paul, you want to go?
Yeah.
Too bad. You can't go. You're giving your tickets away to a listener. Unless you really want to go. I'll make sure you have a seat at the table if you want. You really want to go?
Maybe.
All right, you let me know. Muse, you want to go?
I'm good. I'm good this time.
Well, you're not invited.
Okay. I do love Jordan Davis, though. He's fantastic.
Who?
Jordan Davis.
Never heard of him.
Shreveport guy, country star, pretty good. LSU grad, solid.
Yeah, I'm good. No, I tease. So he grew up with Hunt.
Really?
Yes.
That checks out a little bit.
So they grew up in Shreveport. Hunt was telling me they played like baseball together when they were in seventh grade, something like that. They've known each other their whole lives. So Jordan Davis will be on Hunt's show next Tuesday. Trying to work out the deets, but we'll reconcile. I guess not reconcile. There's no split.
Reunite.
We will reunite. That's a better word. Yeah. We will reunite childhood friends on the Hunt Palmer show on Tuesday.
That's pretty cool. I like that too.
And have people go sign up for the Bayou Traditions Gala featuring Jordan Davis.
Go see Hunt's best friend.
Childhood friend.
Yeah.
Certainly not
that's
best
what
friends.
I said.
You said best friends.
Ah.
Accuracy never really has mattered to you, Muse. That's something I've learned working with you all
That's
this time.
not true at all.
Sounds like it. Is that what he just said?
That's pretty much
what he just said. Yeah. Okay. All right. It's after further review. We're brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com. Title sponsor for Hump Day shows. Yourgoodwood.com. Lowest prices. Never any contracts. Talking about hormone replacement therapy. Everybody knows people on HRT. If you're not, you should be. You should at least go get the blood test to see if you should be. Yourgoodwood.com. Yourgoodwood.com. Okay. There was one text I wanted to read. We kind of wasted that whole segment, but I don't care. Let's see. There was this one, which was not you. It was Andy Ortiz. I like this one. Andy Ortiz. He said, I always liked Matt McMahon. Thought he was a good coach. My biggest concern was with LSU was the money and how little the administration cared. I feel much better about the shape of the program. That was the reaction I thought we'd get more of today. Not the cynical, what does that prove? It doesn't really matter. And somebody asked, this was another good one, Austin McMurray. Not McMurray. I hit it anyway?
Okay.
Yeah.
Murray, present.
It's Austin McCurry.
Oh.
McCurry. He said, didn't Matt McMahon have a highly touted transfer class last year? Didn't numerous ranking services have us top 15? I can't speak for numerous ranking services, but I checked it out. 24/7 Sports and their transfer portal rankings last year ranked the LSU transfer class 65th. One spot behind Grand Canyon. One spot ahead of Creighton. I mean, that's not very good.
No, that's. I'd actually say that's bad.
Yeah, not too good.
Yeah,
not really good. Right now, in the 2025 transfer team rankings, LSU is number 1.
That's good.
That's good.
Yeah, that's much better.
Louisville 2, Iowa, St. John, South Carolina, Baylor, Indiana, Michigan, Ole Miss, Creighton, Partridge in a Pear Tree. All right, Auto Locks is next. Safe.
AFR.
Brought to you by Duplessis Builders, DuplessisBuilders.net, DuplessisBuilders.net. You know, I tell you so many reasons why you should hire Derek Duplessis to build your pool, your outdoor kitchen. How about because he supports the Tigers? Like, let's just get down to brass tacks. He's going to build you a beautiful pool, offer you the 10-year workmanship warranty, local dude from Ascension Parish, LSU grad, but he's done NIL deals with Tigers to support Tiger athletics. Did an NIL deal with 5-star running back Harlan Berry when he's in high school. Kind of maybe a little push to make sure got across the finish line. Jacob Myers, Santa Maria guy, went to Nichols, throwing 96. Did an NIL deal with him, local guy. Kyron Lacey, another Louisiana product, one of LSU's leading receivers this past year. Supporting the Tigers. It's Duplessis Builders. DuplessisBuilders.net.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environment.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Down the stretch we come, final segment here on a Hump Day edition of AFR, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com. One thing left to do, find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Total Maintenance. Now's the time to get that AC unit checked before it really gets hot. Normally $179, just $79 when you mention Otter Locks. Total Maintenance, 480-1000.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
Otter, how are you?
Couldn't be better, Matthew.
I believe it. A perfect night for the Otter last night. Give that man his flowers.
Ring that bell, Moose.
Muse, not fond of ringing that bell. Don't want to give you your flowers.
We'll tight with the bell. It's all right.
I
know. I mean, I guess we'll. Once Devers gets a hit, we'll get sight of the bell. So.
We'll ring a few of them if that ever happens, Otter.
How about that, boys? 5.78 no.
5.78 and 0. Great night for the Otter. Love to see all that green. All that money. Let's keep it rolling, man. What are we looking at tonight?
Got a tricky card for you tonight, Matt, because I like these favorites where they opened up, but these lines are just going up crazy at the Crown, the Las Vegas basketball tournament. So we're going to take the dog straight up, both the dogs, because Boise is going up so much, and Nebraska, and that's just a lot of points for both of them. Butler's been playing really good. They got a great coach in Thad Matta. I think they can play it close, but I can't see them winning. So we're going to we're taking Georgetown plus the points. It's at 9.5 now. We're taking the Butler Bulldogs plus 8. And then we're going to take also a moneyline parlay with the favorites with Boise, Nebraska, and who we got tied in with the Los Angeles Dodgers. I'm not getting in front of that train. I like to be on the house's side normally, but not on this. I'm going with the Dodgers again. So that was nice how they came back last night. After Chris Sale threw up nothing but goose eggs, they got the bullpen to close out our moneyline parlay last night. Also, I've got an NBA. I'll get an add-on from. I've been waiting to cash this divisional ticket for a while, and it looks like it's going down tonight. The Utah Jazz they phoned it in. And then the Houston Rockets, they're laying 16. That's a big number. But this is the night they clinch. They can take off. I'm looking for them to really roll it up tonight against the Utah Jazz. I understand laying 16, but I'm laying it tonight. That's an add-on. That was not on the website earlier today.
All right, so we'll add Houston minus 16. The website also had Red Sox money line.
Trevor Story, solo shot to left field. The newly brought in the left field wall in Camden Yards. So that is underway in the bottom of the second. Boston 1, Baltimore nothing. So good start there.
All right, Otter, where are you tomorrow?
We are at the original walk-on on Burbank.
Well, Thursday action for Live at Lunch.
Ring my bell. Ring my bell.
Let's have another great night. Let's have another great night. Thank you, Otter.
Devers got a ball, Musso. Devers got a ball.
Get out of here. All right, thanks, Otter. Get out of here. We'll see. All right, that'll do it for us here on this Hump Day edition of AFR. If you missed anything, AFR On Demand, presented by Breck Golf. Book your tee time at golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org. Muse, Pauly, thanks. If you missed anything, remember we had Jabari Mack earlier this hour. Aaron Schatz of ESPN was in hour 2. You can get it all on demand wherever you get podcasts or on YouTube. Y'all have an awesome night. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.